here's what's happening in World of Tanks PC this February. I'm Commander AF, and this is Watt Monthly. This February, World of Tanks celebrates the Year of the Snake. Dive into Serpentine-themed missions and rewards during the Lunar New Year 2025 event. Earn event marks, visit the cat shop for exclusive treasures, and slither into action. Check the portal on February 5th for event details. As Onslaught Season of the Crimson Manticore continues, get ready for another fiercely competitive and always exciting season of the Onslaught Legends Series. Throughout February, watch the top teams in Europe compete in 7 vs 7 OLS matches as they battle their way to the top of the Season 2 leaderboard. Show your support by watching the heart-pounding action unfold live on Twitch, claiming drops and earning OLS tokens all along the way. Streams will be available in various languages on a variety of channels, with 100% of proceeds from OLS bundle sales going towards the prize pool. For my pals in North America, get ready for the Onslaught Legends Finals, which will be streamed live on February 22nd and 23rd. Two things I can guarantee: adrenaline-packed matches and mystery drops will be enabled. And don't miss the Onslaught collection in the Wargaming store. It's got everything from tumblers to t-shirts, so you can really show your love for the game. Frontline returns February 10th for 7 thrilling days of dynamic 30 vs 30 battles. During Episode 4, every time you load into a frontline battle, you'll be faced with one of 3 unique battle scenarios, thanks to the Dynamic Battle Scenario system. You've got until February 16th to show your might on the battlefield and level up your rewards. February is for love notes and sweet gifts, and our partners at HyperX have got more than just your X's and O's covered. HyperX and World of Tanks have joined forces to transform your mechanical keyboard into a Watt masterpiece with exclusive 3D printed keycaps. Load out your Escape key with miniature 3D printed replicas of the Tiger I, Barask, and Sherman. Looks just like this. So cute. And Wattify your spacebar and WASD keys with Watt's iconic orange and black brand colors. Designed for mechanical keyboards with MX-style switch stems and sold exclusively in the US, these customized keys combine style and functionality to showcase your passion for the game. Now for a sweet gift. Check out the Love is Key giveaway for a chance to win the full collection of exclusive World of Tanks HyperX keycaps. Click on this link here and enter by Valentine's Day. 5 lucky winners from the US will be randomly selected and notified directly by February 21st. Though the Love is Key giveaway is for US-based players only, to bring a little extra sweetness to everyone's day, I'm talking to you, EU, APAC, and NA servers, I'm giving away the Love is in the Air 2D style to my top 10 favorite love notes. To enter, write a short and sweet love note about your favorite tank and post it in the YouTube comments below. Just be sure to include your in-game name and server in your comments so I can send you your reward. And for another sweet offer from an extra sweet partner, Fragstore.com is helping spread the love this Valentine's Day too. February 7th to 15th, shop their site for some sweet World of Tanks swag and save 20% when you use this promo code at checkout. In other news, the Railgun and Element of Surprise modes will make their triumphant return during the upcoming installment of Arcade Cabinet. February 28th through March 2nd, enjoy a fun-filled weekend of sniping and surprises as you earn random rewards like credits, boosters, and Watt Premium account days. Tally-ho, tankers! Gear up for the ultimate hunt with Boosteroid's monthly boost rewards. This February, stock the battlefield with the William Foxwood Commander, mark your territory with the On the Scent decal, and track down other in-game goodies including gold, a Tier 8 premium subscription vehicle, and experimental equipment. With Boosteroid's cloud-based gaming, you can stay on the prowl anytime, anywhere. Subscribe and link your Boosteroid and World of Tanks accounts by February 28th to claim your prize before it slips away. All right, as you can see, World of Tanks PC is the perfect cozy companion this winter, so cuddle up and roll out, tankers. Happy Valentine's Day, and as always, thanks for watching.
Lunar New Year is coming. Exploding fireworks and thousands of lanterns light up tankers' garages. The Wood Snake is going to bring everyone joy, presents, and red envelopes. Join the fun from January 28th through February 12th. The festive magic is right in the game. And the Wood Snake offers you to play its game. Complete the missions to earn stamps, and then use them to open new segments. You'll get rewards for each one. Many segments contain red envelopes. Each envelope equals a stacking discount of 600 gold. The more you collect, the more you'll save. Once you collect all the envelopes, you'll get a discount of 3,600 gold. Impressive, eh? But you're probably already asking, a discount for what? That's for the cat to answer. Your furry friend sells special festive bundles to use your discount on. You'll find a crew book, 6 months of World of Tanks premium account, and of course, premium vehicles. For example, the Type 63. The envelopes will help you get all this goodness a lot cheaper, and they can make the Panzer IV Schmalturm completely free. Each offer is available to purchase only once, so it's best to collect the maximum discount first, and then go shopping. The cat doesn't just sell handy stuff, he gives it away too. He will regularly give you a few stamps, which you need to open new snake segments. Keep an eye on the timer to see when to pay the puss a visit. And don't forget to complete the snake's missions. That way, you will easily progress through all the stages and be delighted by a nice surprise. It will make your Lunar New Year truly special. More on that in the next video. Ring in the Year of the Wood Snake with light, joy, and World of Tanks. Happy holiday! The new Onslaught season brings the same much-loved competitive battles, with a few improvements. The 5 weekly missions no longer expire at the end of the week, but remain available until the season finishes. You can complete them later and play at your own pace, but try not to leave them all to the last minute. Instead of increased shell resistance, completing all missions will get you a token that you can exchange for any improved equipment. The team lists now have more info. You still won't be able to see unspotted enemy vehicles, but now you can see players' names, platoons, and ranks. All this info is available both during battle and before it, on the loading screen and during pre-battle prep. Redshire has been removed from the Onslaught maps. Tundra and Prokhorovka have been added. And the latter has changed notably for the mode. Countryside engagements are going to be heated. Outpost now has more cover, and some of the points of interest have moved. We've also rebalanced the role skills. You can see a full list of the changes in the article on the game portal. It's now far simpler to assemble platoons in Onslaught. Instead of rating points, the game now checks players' ranks. You can invite a player 1 rank higher or lower than you to join a platoon. For super platoons of 7 players, a difference of 2 ranks either way applies. Incidentally, it's now a little easier to reach the highest rank. Now, not just 10, but a whole 15% of players on the leaderboard are legends. After battles, don't forget to claim your rewards. The banner in the in-game store will remind you. It will take you directly to the Onslaught shop. Fight in this season to get closer to the annual reward, the Stinger. You can only get it in Onslaught, so make sure your Tier 10s are ready. If you don't have many, use this season's rental vehicles, the T110 E5, Centurion Action X, and Bliskavica. Happy onslaughtering! We had a rip-roaring good Christmas and New Year, but winter is about to get twice as exciting. This update brings a new twin-barreled tank branch, crucial rebalances, fun-filled celebrations, and glorious rewards. But first, a reminder about Battle Journey. If you still haven't checked your achievements from 2024, now's the time. You'll get all the juicy details about your tanking career, which you can share with friends. It's a good idea to ponder the past if you want to prepare for a prosperous future. And now, onto what that future has in store for you. Don't miss the new branch of British twin-barreled heavies. They're enticing, pretty powerful, and quite different from their Soviet double-barreled cousins. The latter have auto-reloaders, firing 2 shells one after the other. When both are reloaded, you can fire a salvo with a delay and a penalty afterward. British twin-barreled tanks are a different breed of cat. They're like 2 cyclic tanks in one. One with low alpha damage but good accuracy and mobility. The other with devastating damage but reduced speed and much wider dispersion, albeit with perfect stabilization. This means that in salvo mode, the aiming circle barely widens while moving or turning the turret. The salvo fires instantly. No need to spend time aiming or holding the necessary key. It takes 2 seconds to switch between modes after pressing X. You can switch on the move, for instance, when approaching an enemy. It's best to spend most of the battle in single fire mode, since you can move faster and fire accurately and effectively from long range. But when an enemy comes close, X, 2 seconds, left click. Remember that to fire, tanks from the new branch need to load both barrels. So, after a salvo, you'll have to wait through double loading even if you switch straight to single fire mode. Changing the shell type also means loading both barrels. All tanks in the new branch have this mechanic and general concept. But each has its own little quirks. Get to know them all and find new favorites, not just at Tier 10. But the main attraction is the can opener, which splits apart armor with salvos causing an average of 840 HP of damage. Its own thick armor lets it engage in duels and make the most of those salvos. Steel never fails. The gun depression is British. The mobility is typically heavy in single fire mode and super heavy in salvo mode. The can opener isn't just strong and reliable. It's a vehicle that can adapt to any situation the battlefield presents. It can hold both positions and attack. Fire accurately from long range and let rip an 800 HP kaboom. The can opener is about big emotions and combat performance. All vehicles should be exciting to research, not just new ones. And that's why our work continues on the Tier 10s you know and love and their branches. This rebalance is going to be a heavyweight. The E100 is a decent enough tank, but a little update won't hurt it. The turret front is now stronger, and its rotation speed has increased. The 12.8 centimeter mouse gun has been improved with less dispersion and better penetration with the standard shell. The Type 71 has gotten a bigger overhaul. It was impressive on launch, but not powerful enough to face off against meta vehicles. Well, it is now. This heavy samurai's katana play is now more precise, and it moves around the battlefield faster. Plus, the upper glacial plate is far sturdier now. The M5Y has received similar treatment. To make it more competitive, we made its alternative 120mm gun better, a lot better. Now, both guns command respect. The maximum gun depression is greater too, at 12 degrees against the former 10. That's right, just like the Kranvan. Balancing isn't just about improvements. For a long time, the 60TP was one of the best vehicles at Tier 10. Simple, comfortable, and a nasty opponent. Now, you'll find the 60TP a little easier to play against, since it's lost some loading speed and HP and has greater dispersion. At the same time, the Polish Hussar keeps its concept and will pretty much be as effective as before. Alongside this, the Tier 8 and 9 tanks in the same branch have gotten better. Besides the reworked Tier 10s, the tanks below them have been revised too. Many of them have gotten changes to match the top vehicles. Researching is simpler for all 4 branches, especially that of the E100. You'll find fewer modules, for example. Only the top radios are left. Many stock modules are markedly better. The research process will be more enjoyable. The E100, the Type 71, the Yo, or the can opener.
Pulling on your winners, your Onslaught Legends Series champions will be Cashback.
Mafia are your Fragstore Winter Invitational champions. They take it
24 and the old champion. It is the new champion. Hit and run. The trophy goes. They've done it. Are united in
Hello there and welcome back to today's OLS stream. And crazy to say, but this one is already gonna mark the halfway point of the phase 1 here in the OLS. Today we're going to start off with a classic by now, you could say. Hit and run versus W. Ducky, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of hit and run we're going to get, right? If it's hit and run from match day number 1, W has a chance. If it's hit and run from match day number 2 and 3, then those chances are reduced significantly. They wiped the floor with Mafia. Things could have been slightly different, but it was still a pretty strong performance from them. Then, speaking about Mafia, they're going to be facing off against Ping after this. They kind of expect to get the points there, so we'll have to see if Ping is able to get their first win on the board. Then Darkside versus LTP, I think that is going to be actually the most interesting match of the day personally, where the two teams are probably the closest in terms of who can win and who can get ahead. And then last but least, it might be a violent ending to the night with Cashback taking on Bobbers, and I think this Bobber might not make it back to his river.
Yeah, no. Cashback so far have looked, except against LTP, pretty clean throughout the whole league. But yeah, first of all, Hit versus W. There is a long-standing rivalry in between both of those teams. That being said, obviously, here are the playdays for you. Today is the 4th of February, 2025. And obviously, in every single stream, you'll be able to earn tokens for the OLS token store. And you can then exchange those, as you can see here, for pretty cool in-game rewards, 2D styles, 3D styles, Days of World of Tanks premiums, consumables, all that good stuff, and even a premium tank, as you can see here. And I forgot the expirable reserves, my bad.
And if you don't like the tank, you can always sell it for credits, which is an age-old tactic from those of us who need credits. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, you're a little poor and you need a helping hand. This could be that helping hand. So lots of goodies there to get. And we have another Super Sunday coming up, right, Gihan?
Yep, exactly. After next Thursday's stream, obviously, we'll have another Super Sunday with 8 best of 5s coming up as well. That being said, the standings as of now, Cashback topping the board with LTP trailing behind, albeit after Sunday. Last Sunday, that is. One might say LTP could have taken it even in regular time against Cashback. That would mean that the team from France would be on place number 1. Currently, as it stands, though, last season's winners are on a clear course to phase 2 of the OLS.
Yeah, they had a rough performance against LTP. They probably should have lost that, but they edged ahead, and that's the tell sign of a great team, even snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, with Barbarian leading the charge there, winning multiple clutches on Sunday. If you remember.
I actually saw Barbarian rewatching his clutch on Himmelsdorf against LTP, and yeah, the shot on Noxious there, not only did he roll dead average, 750 or something, it was quite illegal how he hit it as well. That being said, obviously, if you want to watch in other languages, then we have a variety of people covering in different languages as well. Talking about Barbarian, for example. That being said, though, team lineup for Hit and Run. We can see the winners from China assembled in basically a Polish super team. But they have looked shaky so far.
Yeah, but I feel like we've seen that also before from them. Like they assemble this team and then they struggle. But through the season, they usually build to become better. So if that's a thing here, then we'll see. And of course, this W roster is a bit different than last season. You know, with some new additions, we still have to see them like really gel together and challenge the very best. And you know, Hit and Run is a pretty big task for W. If they could do something here, that'd be very nice for them as well. Community prediction: 82% for Hit and Run. Yeah, maybe a tad much, but not by a lot.
Well, I can see where it comes from. I think in this matchup, just like in all matchups with Hit, it really depends on which Hit and Run we're going to see. Are we going to see the Hit and Run that played against Darkside, where they didn't even basically show up in the match? Or are we going to see the Hit and Run from last Sunday that looked pretty convincing? That being said, W Jackifa so far has been an absolute key player, 2.2k D. That is very good. Together with above 3k DPG. And now here we do have the maps that we're gonna see. Himmelsdorf and Studzianki getting banned out respectively. So we are going to start off on Ensk, a hit and run pick. We are going to transition over to Cliff. W picking that one, and then if we get to it, Muravanka a tiebreaker. However, Ensk and Cliff, Ducky, two super fast maps.
For sure. Ensk and Cliff will give us guaranteed quick action. This match will either rocket towards like a 3-1, 3-0, or we're gonna go all the way to Muravanka. I am worried for W and Ensk against Hit and Run. Don't know why. I just feel like the individual skill, the individual players should be able to make the difference for Hit and Run, in my opinion, because you know, Ensk, once you have it understood like what can happen, I think it just comes down to that brawl at some point, unless you know you can surprise like Cashback did, for example, with the light and then push one side. At some point you are going to get that brawl, and there the individual skill matters a lot. Predictions from the casters, and that is 3-1 across the board except for Keyhand with a 3-2 scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't entirely sure which hit and run we are going to see today. This is why I'm giving a little bit more credit towards W. That being said, I think both teams will be able to take the match if the other one slips up. Keep in mind, best of 5 is a super small best of. So, yeah, potential for shakeups, for setups is always there. But I have to agree with your sentiment. Ensk, Hit and Run have liked playing it in the past. There were some weird things happening in the past as well on Ensk, where Hit and Run didn't look so good, actually. But first of all, there's one more thing that we need to mention, and that is what happened yesterday on the 3rd of February. There were some slight adjustments, and those were towards some tanks that have been played quite a lot, even in the OLS now. Basically, the role skill for Juggernaut TDs and for support medium tanks, a Slate of Hand, both of those are not going to hold a charge at the start of the battle anymore. And the percentage of damage reduction for Juggernaut TDs went down a bit as well. That being said, Hit and Run, they still pick those. Those are 3 E4s, 1 E3, a 430U, interestingly enough, together with a Batchat and Monster in the mouse.
W then W100, a 1-1B, a 4-3U, a Fush B, a V4, and an E3. They're definitely trying to change something up here. Of course, the E100 got a little bit of a buff, 10mm to the turret. Not all that significant in my opinion, but we can write books about the significance of 10mm. The gun, of course, getting a little bit of a buff as well, but interesting here is that, you know, that 1-1B, of course, has great heat pen with 350. So, a wonderful tank that delivers huge amounts of penetration. And of course, the Inspire and Frugo in that E100, taking 766 right to the face.
Exactly. Also, I think it should be mentioned that I think both of those E100s are rocking the small gun, so 530 Alpha, but better reload than the 750 Alpha boomstick that it also has available. As Frugo, who has taken some damage, now starts peeking here on the outside. Ketsai unable to convert, and that one even takes a shot to the face. Good shot by Ios there on the green.
Yeah, Ketsai tries. Doesn't succeed. EOS in the 50 is in a pretty strong position. You know, it's hard to push that after it has been established. It's kind of like an early move if you want to do something. Monster in the mouse, taking a shot as well. I think that was from EOS as well, that zero line position, of course, with the rails being opened up in the middle of the map. Compared to regular battles, you do get some funky angles, and you can see Frugo here starting to make his move up. Ketsai is ready and waiting. He delivers a shot. In the meantime, a shot being delivered from DJ as well. Ketsai taking another one now to the face, but DJ in return taking 1.1, and now Klurf is aggressing in that Forge B. He's making his move here, and I think he's going to be turning out towards Ketsai still. Can he find the kill together with EOS? It does seem good for W here. They found this for 30U, but Klurf needs to be careful not to explode for this. He's turning around to face the E4, so you can see that he still has the ability on. Now he's starting to heal, so any damage he takes now will be permanent, but the only thing currently permanent is Ketsai down and out, and DJ in a lot of trouble as well.
Absolutely, DJ getting focused out here by the team of W that have made that aggressive move on the green of Ensk. And so far it's working out for them. We can see the HP thoroughly in favor of the team of W, and they even have the gun advantage. However, now Franek has arrived with that Batcher to provide some fire against that 430U that is still active with the funny button here. Klurf now taking some damage and actually getting taken out. The counter push is rolling, but are they able to convert is the question, as Pansfury goes dangerously low and Frugo falls.
I mean, 4v4 right now, but W with the HP advantage, but Franek and the Batcha could be a very big difference maker here, but Tisek doesn't connect on that 430U. Good face hugging there from EOS. Jakefa picking up Piotr in the meantime, and you should say that in this 3v3 there should never be an opportunity for Hit and Run to come back in, as Jakefa finds that E4 of Tisek, who misses again on towards that V4, and now Monster in the mouse and Franek in the bat, the last two standing, and W has shown up to play. They're going to be picking up the first round on Ensk with that surprise field to push that net quite a interesting amount of tanks. I mean, finding not one but two tanks, Kian.
Yeah, exactly. The 430U, they're going down, and then the E4 not to live long after, together with being able to keep that Foch alive, working wonders for the, one might say, underdogs of a W that managed to pick up that first round here on the map pick of Hit and Run, mind you. So a good start for the international roster, and I think Hit and Run must be scratching their heads a little bit, because like such a push over the open, normally you should be able to punish tanks like that Foch B, like that E100 a lot better, but they weren't able to do so. I think they were too split even.
Yeah, they were a little bit left, right, and everywhere, unable to really cover each other. Ketsen at 430U, I don't think he did all that much compared to EOS. If we're going to see the damage department, we'll see a distinct difference between those two, in my opinion, when we look at it. Okay, yeah, okay, no, definitely. Just EOS was like position 4. I was like, oh, he didn't do that great. But if we look at it, there's a big difference there. Ketsai doing 2k, EOS doing 4 himself in that 430U, and of course I think that W started with a little bit extra HP as well because of that double E100, right, which definitely compensates for having two mediums. Frugo there, the battering ram and his E100, but yeah, mainly DJ to highlight there in that E4, and then Ketsai in the 430U not getting out nearly enough if you compare to the tanks of W. 430U and Batchat on the side of Hit and Run are the tanks that need to do the damage. So when they are not able to do that, you usually run into an issue.
Yeah, exactly. And also the fact that the Foch B of W was able to get that heal off. Like, that heal is so powerful, the second wind ability. If you're not able to immediately blow up the Foch B like that, then it's best to honestly just focus on other tanks instead, and like maybe, you know, take one other gun out of the game. But yeah, that was round 1. We are almost into round number 2. Obviously, sides are going to be switched. Personally, I'm looking forward to maybe see one of the teams pick a light tank as well. That has been not too uncommon on Ensk as well. Tesak action, for example, because to me it seems like the prevalence of brawling TDs hasn't really been touched by the nerf that we saw on Monday.
I mean, it shouldn't really. I mean, it's still like pretty significant to have that damage reduction nonetheless. So that's why you'll see still a lot of them. I mean, hit and run bringing double for 30U, double E3, triple E4. So still 5 TDs.
And for W, we see only 2 Juggernauts coming out. It's going to be the V4, the E4, and then we have double Foch B available as well, together with a Centurion and double E100. So a lot of meat, a lot of steel on W's team to chew through. That being said, though, hit and run, they do have large alpha guns, and they do have high DPM tanks available as well. So maybe a lot of HP, but a lot to farm as well with that double E100. We see W now with a different kind of approach as they send everyone towards the city.
Hit and run sending majority towards the field, in return having only that E3 of DJ to cover the south side of the map at that rail there. Fnatic going very aggressive, taking the artillery strike immediately, and Ketsai, I think, driving straight towards the info will reveal what W is up to. Now the real question here, Kihan, is... EOS taking a shot there. Good shot from Piotr. Can they get that double Foch B engaged properly?
Currently, it doesn't look like it, because the double Foch B is still scurrying around in the streets of Ensk, as Jakafa is going to pick up the information tower. He also has the arty strike left for him, but obviously Hit and Run picked one up on the field too. So there are resets available, as now Brainbreaker starting to drive in, does trade it out against Monster, who activates his ability a little bit late. And EOS now, we were talking about those high alpha guns on Hit and Run, and they are certainly starting to work and hurt that E100 already down to half HP, but in comes the counter push from W in the northern side.
And the double Foch B and the V4 of Frugal pushing across Ketsai, kind of caught out in the open again. Itox already trying to run down Fnatic, but he has readjusted. They will not find 2, they will find 1 though, as Ketsai in round number 2 also gets pummeled down by these Foch Bs. They do find a little bit of success in return on EOS now, crossfiring Splotty and Brainbreaker as well. The E4 and E100 are getting sandwiched while they're losing the north. So now Jakifa with a good strike finishes off Monster, and this battle has still been undecided right now. You would say that Hit and Run, with the tanks they currently have, those big alpha guns, are in a driving position to take this round. Once they find Brainbreaker, they're gonna make it a one tank advantage for them, but mainly that alpha advantage we talked about earlier, Kihan, could be pretty significant.
Yeah, exactly. The alpha advantage could be the difference maker here. That being said, W slightly ahead in HP right now, but starting to lose a lot of it as Itox comes off reload with that Foch B. Is he able to blow up T-Sec through the rails? Doesn't seem to be the case, so two super one-shots on the team of Hit and Run that currently managed to stay alive to probably put in those 1 or 2 crucial shots more. That being said, both of them get eliminated as all of a sudden W with the tank advantage.
You know, Fnatic, who has done a very good job at dodging this Foch B for the whole game. Oh, you see the damage reduction there. That's the annoying part about it. Now, Itox with 3 in the chamber is going to have enough to finish off Fnatic. 1 more will put him down. And W actually turned this around once more with those Foch Bs and leave DJ as last one standing. And just like that, W will put themselves on match point already in this best of 5. What a quick fashion for them. They're probably very happy. But may I remind everybody not to cast or curse them, that it wouldn't be the first time that W goes from match point to match loss against Hit and Run, Kian.
Absolutely. Some people probably still remember this. Currently, we see a victory march by the team of W here that pick up the map pick by Hit and Run cleanly 2-0 and go on towards a match point. That not a lot of people probably had that on their ballot for, you know, their prediction today.
No. And they only need 1 more cliff round, right? But yeah, this time around, again, Ketsai getting caught round 1, Ketsai getting caught round 2. Fnatic was able to evacuate the area, but again, this 430U, you want it to be the one to do the damage. If you look at W's lineup, it's the Foch Bs mainly and the AX, I guess, that you want to do the damage for Hit and Run. You want those 430Us to be pumping, and when only one of them is pumping, I think Fnatic did a good job of disengaging, running around, and probably, yeah, got 4.8k damage out of that as well. But then you see, again, you know, Ketsai with that 430U, not really enough for the tank that he's playing, for the responsibility that he has. And yeah, W pushes across that northern side, catches him off guard, and as a result of that, they do find the game. And yeah, the Forge Beast there doing good amounts of damage, but mainly Jakiefa and then even Frugo with the V4 stepping up.
Yeah, absolutely. A good job by W here finding the engagements that they needed, and this now means, as we already said, that we are going to be headed towards Cliff, and likely knowing that map, the action is not going to slow down there as well. Cliff obviously plays a lot different from Ensk. And here, once again, it's going to be up to the callers on either side. Like, what do we do with the initial information that we get that most likely our lights will provide? Because I think picking a light on Cliff currently is absolute meta. Although Cliff, I think, one of the very few maps where a T100 gets elected over the RHM.
Yeah, because of that low profile, the T100 does get picked from time to time. But there's a lot of tank picks on Cliff that are still possible as well, you know, like even Gorillas and stuff are sometimes picked on this map.
Yeah, let's see what exactly is gonna happen here. And the thing is that even if Hit and Run were to pick up the map pick of W cleanly now 2-0, this still means that W also has a point secure already with the new rules here. But obviously they're looking to pick up 2 more. They're looking to pick up a clean 3 against a Hit and Run that once again looks confused, shaky. Some of the parts not really coming and fusing together as we're normally used to from them.
But Gihant, don't forget, this is a, you know, best of 5. So you're on match point really, really quickly. But just as quickly as you are on match point, you're looking against it again as well. Hit and Run could just clean sweep Cliff. This is a realistic possibility that they would. Ooh. And they could. And they have also been in the kitchen, because 450Bs, WCS63 and an E50M is one hell of a lineup.
Absolutely. That is a very Hit and Run-esque lineup, as in it looks extremely experimental. For W, kind of normal, except for the fact that the light tank that they have is a 13105, actually. I think second time we see it in OLS. I remember at least one on Airfield before on Sunday. But yeah, they ramped that one off with a 430 USC, a 63, double Batshot, and double BZ75. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the BZ75, but we have seen it find great success.
The 105 is an interesting pick. I mean, teams have been experimenting with it, and they're going to need to use that light to their advantage. I mean, Klurf did plane and replaned those CSs going middle, so they know about the CSs. They don't entirely know what's on 1-2 line normally. The 105 will get a little bit of a clip there. The people are aiming. T-Sec is like, Piotr, I do not want to go, so I'm just going to sit here and relax and wait for our teammates to arrive, as Itox takes a little bit of damage from both the CS63s. You saw how many people were aiming, and now Itox getting peeked by all of these 50Bs. He needs to be very careful in that CS, and that gives us the question, Kihan. What can W do now that they've lost the hill?
Yeah, that is the question. Obviously, the 50Bs, they have great clip potential, but they are very squishy, and that's starting to show here. They're getting punished for those peaks, as Monster is now starting to pick up the artillery strike. And notably, that E50M of DJ has made it through the 1-2 line, is now going to go to B2, and is looking to put shot after shot in towards the tanks that are standing in the middle of the map. And obviously, those 50Bs, they don't have to expose for a terrible amount of time here, only just to spot those BZ75s, and I think Frugo is starting to take shots in towards the back of his tank. That's probably the E50M starting to work. A lot of damage being done on towards Frugo in that BZ that seems to be unable to stay safe.
Yeah, but they're doing good trades though still. For being in the position that they are, they've pushed back those 50Bs with Brainbreaker as well. Now they're starting to go up. Jakefa's starting to take some damage. They're peeking. Frantic Monster, can they get more connections? The ability activated, less intra clip. You can see the damage on towards that BZ, down towards the one shot. He is out. Monster will pick it up, and now T-Sec has to face off against Frugo while Brainbreaker is trying to find Piotr. There is things that the side of W can do, that the side of W can achieve. Frugo can probably not really win the hill, and Brainbreaker will struggle against Piotr, but he does find a 1-2 combination. Piotr also finding 2 shots in the meantime, but look at this 50B repush in the mid in the meantime, unspotted. Will find Splatty, who just about makes it back around the corner, but those are 50Bs. If they just peek out and try to clip, then who knows what will happen. Piotr actually picked up Frugo, as well as Brainbreaker finds Piotr, but he's in a little bit of no man's land himself. He will get despotted, but you can see Monster already moving the way of that Batcha 25T as the mid is getting repressured now. Klurf and Splatty find the kill, but in return, Klurf in that light tank has perished, and Monster with the ram will shut down Brainbreaker. And now when we look at the minimap, Kihan, it's not looking good for W.
Absolutely not. The Monster with another pickup here on that 430U, and T-Sex still alive on the hill somehow. Itox down towards a one-shot as well. The only one with HP remaining on the lineup of W now being Ios, and Hit and Run. They do look to pick up that first round on Cliff. They're not down. They're not out of the match yet.
No, they bring it back. They pick up a round. For them, this was had a really good setup, right? I mean, good that they didn't go up straight, but as a result of them not going up straight, they kept W standing on that 5 line, where they were just sitting and aiming, and the 50Bs just took 1-2, and yeah, they did a lot of damage to the 50Bs and peeking out, but with the ability, with the interclip, I mean, the BZ is very fast with rockets, but I think Jakefa needs another 4 sets to make it past those 50Bs.
Yeah, absolutely. That certainly did hurt, and it probably was FC call to go up, so cannot really fault him for being. Yeah, cannot really fault Jakefa in this circumstance. But yeah, obviously, Hit and Run find a very, very important point for themselves here on Cliff, and we do see actually DJ there with 5.9k, so continuously able to find those shots from even the spawn of the opposing team. I think him going there with that 50B was one of those very, very important plays, and in the end you can see it was basically the difference maker there. 6k damage, 2 kills to his name. That's basically two enemy tanks by himself.
I mean, you can see the real issue there, though. I mean, Frugo on the hill does 1 shot, Jakefa does 1 shot, of course, but DJ, man, 5.8 in that E50. I mean, he was on a very, very, very quick flank.
Mm-hmm. And the fact also that he didn't fall, like, there was the potential maybe for W to repush, because I know at some point they had, like, Batchat and the 13105 as well set up to repush, but yeah, they never managed to catch that A50M, and that obviously was one of the key things that allowed Hit and Run to take the round. However, that was only round number 1 on Cliff. There is yet another match point for the team of W that they obviously still need to convert, but as of right now, nothing's won for Hit and Run.
But nothing is lost either. They bought themselves a little bit more time to get back in this one. We talked about the violent nature of best of 5, which really it is violent. As quickly as you're 2-0, it can be 2-2. That is the beauty of best of 5 as well, because it can be just as quick 3-0 before you're like fully realized what just happened to you.
Exactly, and we did have quite a few 3-0s, although this match is obviously not going to be one of them. And Hit and Run now switching it up. Triple BZ75, double Batchat, 1 CS63, and a TVP.
W in return, bringing back to 105 once more, the Batchat 25T, double 277, a BZ, and double 50B. BZs and 277s, I'll never be the biggest fan of them, Kihan. I don't know about you.
Neither. I think our opinion about them is kind of similar. Same for example, STB1. Not a fan either. But the team must have a reason for picking them. And obviously those tanks have advantages as well. I mean, the BZ just arrives with a lot of HP that the enemy needs to chew through. Although there is a slight HP difference actually towards the 277 here that obviously has the advantage of, I guess, better gun handling and a harder turret. than the BZ75. But this is one interesting move here coming out by W on towards the 1-2 line. They split off the 277s that don't really have the best DPM by themselves. And now the double 50B together with the 13-105, they're starting to go hunt after Piotr. That does make it behind a house, but those are two angry 50Bs.
Yeah, Piotr is out. Yos with the ram. It takes a lot of damage for that, though. He had the shell available, but he wants to secure the kill now. These 277s of Frugo and Jakefa are moving towards the lower side. They need their teammates to come in and support as Hit and Run is trying to make the difference now against those 277s. You can see Frugo tanking it out like a champion. Brainbreaker crossing over. T-Sec still in the middle. Can the boys from W bully them themselves back into this? Itox already repushing. Seems a bit premature as Frantic is about to come off of reload. That batch of 25 team may have gone just too far, but those 50Ps, they're getting through him, but still Itox will fall, but not before 2 tanks from Hit and Run make it. 3 tanks from Hit and Run are in the grave, and now DJ surrounded by the guns. The 50Bs are out of steam though, and so is that 105, so who knows what can be done here. But 3 tanks versus 6 Gihan, I believe in miracles, just not this one, I think.
Today doesn't seem to be the day for a hit-and-run miracle, as finally the 50Bs and the 13-105 do start coming off reload. Brainbreaker now even boosting in towards Ketsai, trying to push him off the cliff. It's not going to happen, but Ios about to come off reload, gets shut down before that though, as Klurf also on the long reload again. Brainbreaker once again X marks the spot, unable to push Ketsai off the cliff, but it is only Ketsai remaining not only in the round but in the match currently for a hit and run, as surely the international lineup cannot let this one slip past Ketsai with the failed ram attempt. But it is not going to change anything here, as W surprisingly pick up this match, not even having to go to tiebreaker. It's going to be 3 points on the board for them.
Yeah, and good stuff from them. Those track shots against Piotr were more important than you may think at the end of the day, because if Piotr gets one more building further, I think he extends his life by, let's say, 10 seconds. But let's talk in terms of like time, so like 10 seconds, right? And 10 seconds would probably be enough for them to kill both of the 277s and then immediately turn their attention on the guys coming from the middle. Even though I think Itox went in slightly early still, they traded him off really well nonetheless.
Indeed, and we do, interestingly enough, see a 277 on top in damage. Normally not the best DPM, but obviously the ability makes it a tiny little bit better, but it just goes to show that Jackify was in the midst, in the thick of it for most of it. And also the 13-105, interestingly enough, second by damage as well. That must have been some damn good shooting here. And yeah, on the other side, I think the biggest problem was that Hit and Run weren't able to gun down the 277s fast enough. I think they were missing maybe instead of a third BZ, maybe a second bat shot to just blast through. But obviously the lineup, yeah, it just wasn't able to do that. And then, as you said, W, they picked up Piotr and they were able to come back in just in time. And I do think, yeah, 10 seconds could be
I honestly think that the difference, Piotr getting tracked on the move and Piotr not getting tracked there, is the difference between them killing him in time and them not killing them in time. So, a bit unfortunate for Hit, but, W was decisive in the move.
W was decisive, and the execute, I mean, it looked really, really cool. So props to them, and congrats to them for picking up 3 points. But for the time being, I think that's quite enough blabbering. We'll be right back after some replays where once again you can enjoy how W was just able to take down Hit and Run. Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 is here. And you can make it truly special for participants and yourself. Boost the prize pool by predicting with team bundles. If your team wins, you can upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version. Contribute now. Well, hello there and welcome back. We're not trying to spoil the results. It is currently still 0-0 in between Ping and Mafia. So two Polish teams going up against each other. What's your take on this one?
I think Ping needs the points, Kihand. At this point, they really need to start getting something, even if it's only one. Even if it's not just for the points, it's also for the confidence, right? I mean, you want to achieve something, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, indeed. Ping so far with 0 points on the board across all 3 play days that we have completed. So if they still want to make it to phase 2, it is just about time. But if they want to do it now, they have selected not the easiest of opponents. Ping here coming in with some reinforcements from the former team of Storm and also from W. But so far, those reinforcements not really having the best of impacts, at least in terms of countable return.
At what point do those players start to wonder, like, maybe we made a mistake, you know? Like, when does the doubt set in, Kihan, about your transfers?
It probably already has, to be fair. Like, but it doesn't matter, right? They cannot, you know, just revert it. I doubt that W even would want to take them back at this point. But yeah, here we see Mafia. Also some shuffles going on there. Obviously, getting, for example, I think Yuzik from Lotus, formerly Storm. And he certainly made a good trade.
Yeah, he made the best trade so far. Seeing as, you know, Lotus isn't here and he is, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, in between both of them, I think the role of the favorite and the role of the underdog, especially counting past results, is clearly distributed. And yeah, I mean, 95-5, once again, maybe a bit harsh, but I can see it. I can see why it would be this way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Understandable.
I mean, Ping also, for example, losing to LTP, I think 3-1. And, I mean, LTP has been performing well. So, now they're basically almost certain to go to phase 2 already. So yeah, Ping having a rough start to the season 2 here. If they want to make things turn around, they need to start now. And here we see Olzek so far, one of the key players for Mafia. KD of 1.8, almost 2.9k average damage, pen rate 86%. And to be honest, like the tanks that he plays, not the best gun handling. So 86%, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid. If he can keep this up all together, which, you know, we're still early, yeah, these statistics will level out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, on the first day, we had that, I think, 9.5k damage game, and that led to, at some point, one of the players, I think it was Kitsank, having 5.5k DPG. That is bound to go down, but yeah, it's obviously funky stats. And the deeper we go into the season, then the more detailed those stats will become, as well as we're able to look at the pick and bans as well here. Airfield and Cliff being banned out respectively. We're going to start on Westfield, so once again, fairly quick map. Pilsen can be played slower, but can also be played super quickly. Studzianki ends Ghost Town Himmelsdorf removed, leaving Muramanka once again as the possible tiebreaker.
What do you think, Ihan? Will we get to the tiebreaker, though?
I don't think so. I think I predicted 3-0 or 3-1 for Mafia. So, according to that prediction, no, we're not going to see Muro.
Did you predict 3-0? Did I predict 3-0?
That is also...
I was thinking back, what did I predict? What did I predict?
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll have a check about what I predicted. And then we can say, all right, predictions. So I said... well, all of us, first of all, wrong with the past match here. I said 3-1 for Mafia. You said 3-1 as well. Actually, everyone went with the 3-1 except Phil, who apparently has a script. He's saying 3-0.
3-0. Interesting. That's a bit much, no? I feel like Ping could definitely... I mean, we saw... 3... It's a bit much. It's a bit much, I think.
Yeah, also, I have a feeling that we didn't see like Ping play to their fullest abilities yet. Maybe the little changes to the aforementioned role skill of Juggernaut TD and support medium, maybe those helped them. Who knows? Because like they weren't able to really perform in the meta before this, but maybe this slight change is going to help them a little bit. More importantly, though, we do have the map being Westfield, and I mean. Ping, they do have some Storm players, and at some point Storm was renowned for being a very good Storm team, so maybe those would be able to offer some insights as to how to play the map.
Yeah, but like unless you have the same FC, I think that makes the most impact on a map like this. Like sure, they can be good at Westfield, but like it's still the person that's leading now that's making the calls, you know, like... It has to be on the same level, the same philosophy of the map. But yeah, 3-1 across the board, filled with the 3-0. I mean, if he predicts this, then it's good. You know, Moff is going to be fuming in the background.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, to be honest, in my humble opinion, if Ping doesn't start winning like today, then I don't think they're going to be able to secure a spot in Phase 2. So they better start doing that now, and they have brought a fairly straightforward lineup, actually. A singular Centurion Action X together with triple 430U and triple Bwisca. Mafia, on the other hand, a bit more experimental.
A little bit more, but not that experimental, Doki. Maybe Bant, Udes, double Bliska, Foch B, and an RHM. It's not that experimental, though. I mean, you know, the Miffy seeing more usage.
Yeah, absolutely. It got a little bit of love in this patch, and the teams are starting to respect that fact. I think the biggest difference in lineups here actually is the light tank versus no light tank. And we do see YOLO immediately making even a shot of damage on towards Click. That's going to be important because he's going to have another plane to use, and he immediately seems to drop that on towards the Błyskawiczas as the 430Us that were a little bit towards the back of the map now start driving in closer towards the cap, and this means that the Udas together with the MVY need to be extremely careful to not get overrun, but the 430Us have different plans. They do end up dropping over on towards the Bwiskas of Mafia.
Here come the 430Us though. Miku, Adi and Adamak trying to in, but Click already down and out, and now these red tanks just driving in the crossfire of Mafia, getting shot along every single step of the way. Barkis falls for Mafia though, but the crossfire, Kihan, it's hurting right now, and unless these 430Us go Super Saiyan, I don't see it happening. Profuse falls, but he already made his clip. That's the most important aspect for that Foch B, that initial 6 shells it gets available, and now you can see Orchek, Marcel, and YOLO just raining down lead with a batch at 25T of Conrad in the side. Mafia, they hold, they stabilize, and they will put Ping in the grave on battle number 1.
Absolutely, Ping trying something funky here with the 430U hit squad, but the crossfire by Mafia coming in was absolutely brutal. That's being said, it's not quite done yet, but the HP difference, it should be carrying Mafia over the finish line. Conrad with the crossfire from that Batchat already reloaded. Another tank falls on the team in red. Lucky also surely going down soon as the Mivi picks it up, and now YOLO in the light tank of all things starting to lead the charge against the remainder of that team of Ping.
Yeah, I mean, Mafia had such a crossfire, Kihan, it would be a miracle. Actually, a miracle if like Ping somehow drove like through the middle of Mafia, like straight down the middle onto like a few tanks, and then somehow convert that into a win when you have like a Mivi and Udes above you. Hold on, just like, well, this is fun, guys. Well, I could shoot him. I could shoot him. But he looks really nice to shoot, and you're pushing into like tanks that want to die in a way. In the scenario, the TDs are the ones that you want the damage to be received on the Bliskavitz, the first B. I mean, Profus probably did his shots. That's the question here. He hit 5 out of 6, so basically almost perfect performance from him. And before they even arrived, I think Click already exploded, right? So it's a really, 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 really hard engagement to come out of successful if you're Ping.
Yeah, exactly. I think Mafia were extremely well set up to receive this push, and yeah, I think the tanks that got collapsed upon on the team of Mafia, as you highlighted, those were exactly the tanks that, you know, if something on your team gets pushed, yes, please, on those. Because that means like the Briska is going to take damage. It has the damage reduction skill and also super high DPM at short ranges. And also the Force B, I mean, as long or as soon as it does its whole clip, that's basically, you know, at that point you're trying to buy time for your team to shoot at whatever has been pushing you. So a perfect result here for Mafia in round number 1. Good shooting from the outsides as well with that MVY, with that bad shot of Conrad also that ended up picking up 4 kills. So good stuff from Mafia. Now sides, once again, as the story goes, are gonna be switched. And yeah, for Ping, I mean, it wasn't looking good before the start of the day. It's not looking any better now.
Westfield is the map where I think Ping has to do it again, where they have to pick up a round between you and me, because it's the map where you can still force the engagement. But I mean, forcing the engagement is one thing, getting the right engagement is another. Double AX, 4 Bliskas and an RHM for Ping, bit more well-rounded in this one.
Bit more rounded, also with the double Centurion Action X. As soon as they're in the fight, you can basically put down Perma Inspire. That can be pretty powerful. On the other side, I think Mafia not really switching it up too much. Still having 1 RHM, double Bliska, an Udes, a Batchat, an MVY, and a BZ75. I think, what did they actually switch out for the BZ? The Frosch B. All right.
Yeah, there's no Frosch B. That's the Professor Bliskavitz. It's still a little bit less brawly though, but if you get the crossfire that you need, you could definitely make this work. And now you have a BZ going to A3 for the side of Mafia. You have YOLO taking the info point on the other side. They will have full information. And I almost feel like Ping has to push A3, Kihan. I don't know how you feel about this, but it would be the opening they could look for.
Let's see if they're gonna do that, as Lucky and David get spotted in their Centurions. However, no shots connecting in towards them. YOLO already on the outside has picked up the information tower, now is starting to pick up the strikes. So the cap that Miko is currently trying to pull off is not really going to be much of a factor, simply because the resets can actually start coming in. Lucky now going to pick up the information tower for himself as well. And currently Ping hovering around the second strike, wanting to punish if anyone wants to take it, but Mafia with no plans as of now.
I think Ping had an opportunity, Keyhand, to go for this push, but the longer they wait, the less likely it's going to get. I think Mafia's in a decent position spread across, but now Ping seems to be converging there. Miku beacon with the Bliska, taking one to the face. Click now joining, but I feel like they've missed their timing, Key.
Yeah, I don't really see anywhere where Ping could properly push right now and just, you know, immediately net themselves a good return of investment, essentially. As we do see Cap now getting started, it's 2 tanks, 30 seconds left. Obviously, a third one is being pulled right now. Click could join at any point in time. Adamek coming close too, but Mafia, they're still, I think, holding on to the strike on YOLO. So the resets are available and the spots are coming out as well from those tanks by Mafia that are closer to the cap. And I think Ping, they were trying to bait some sort of reaction out of Mafia, but at this point in time, it looks like they're starting to drive out with 1 second left, actually. They could have just stopped here. The strike would have been too late, in my opinion, but now Uzek's getting pushed and decides to boost out of there.
Yeah, but that BZ is just boosting into the middle of the Ping tanks. They have found that push after all. I thought that they missed the timing, but they have not. Uzek down, Bark is down. Can Mafia now converge and find something? They do find Click though in the open. Look at the damage received. Conrad picks it up in the bat, but here comes Adamek leading the charge. Maybe a bit premature, Kihan. He gets in there a little early before the rest of his team has arrived. He will drop low, but Conrad on reload. YOLO doesn't want to have anything to do with that fight right now, and Profuse is going to be surrounded by the guns from Ping. They are finding success, but Miku goes down. Conrad now surrounded, gets stopped in the face by the Bliska and the Axe. Double teamed from two sides. He will get picked up by David, and 3 tanks left standing for Mafia. Conrad Kihan did not disengage just far enough. They did find him. That was a beautiful ram there. That Bliskavitsa ability, of course, does increase that ram damage as well.
Exactly, and now only a Profuse, Ozek, and YOLO surviving. David already pushing after YOLO here, who obviously in a DPM 1v1 cannot stand up against the Centurion AX. Profuse down towards a one-shot as well, and Jacek doesn't even look his way as he drives on towards Ozek to get a little more damage on the board here against the Udes, and like with the ram kill to pick it up. So Ping, they do wake up, and they are going to equalize the scoreline. Westfield is going to get split 1-1.
Yeah, and Ping, I mean, I honestly thought they missed the timing, but apparently the positions for Mafia were so bad that they didn't, so good for them. I thought, you know, like, if they wait too long, then A3 will be well covered, but okay, you push the BZ, and the BZ pushes out of it, Kihan. Let's be real, when you're boosting out, you're not really, like, it's not like you're gonna escape anywhere. You're just, like, extending your life by maybe, like, 2 seconds. If even,
yeah,
if
exactly.
even that.
I think he had the slight hope of surviving, and even that, like, if he's boosting out of there, then, you know, copium alert, at least the opposing tanks have to expose their turrets for shooting at you, and that gives your team maybe a chance of retaliation, but yeah, no good coverage on that BZ in the corner, and this means that Ping do pick up a round, and good for them, because they sure need it.
Yeah, they really needed it, so good for them to stay in the match. Like there with a big game, 6.5k, very good. They access the farm tanks, they have to do the damage.
I mean, perfect scoreline as well for David there with 10-10-10. So in the end, Ping with a much needed round, but obviously it does not stop here. They need to continue if they want to stay in the OLS for longer than just phase 1. And Mafia, I mean, they're going to be, I guess, kicking themselves a little bit, because this is normally an opponent that they are supposed to win against. But Ping are obviously going to try and make it as difficult as possible. That being said, Westfield was a Ping pick, and now we're headed to Pilsen.
Pilsen's also a lot slower, more controlled, more on tactics than Westfield is. Of course, Westfield is highly dynamic in a way. There's always something coming out. Pilsen can be a lot slower, but you can try to force the fight, Kihan, by capping. However, nowadays with that strike on the coal pits, I think you were looking for a term the other time when you were casting with Moff. Those are just coal pits, Kihan.
Yep. Or coal lumps of coal, I guess.
Just coal pit play, you know? Rolls off the tongue. Just like Ping's about to roll over Mafia.
That would be a surprise indeed.
It would be good though. It would be good.
Also, we are gonna have a little bit of time until the next battle starts. But yeah, that obviously does give the teams as well some more time to prepare. And it gives us some more time to actually analyze what happened there on Westfield, because I think the first round was kind of concerning from Ping's like viewpoint, because essentially what they were doing was an all-in or nothing strategy with, you know, spotted 430Us driving into essentially tanks that they don't want to engage. So I want to question a little bit the decision making of what happened there, even because they had information available. It's not like, you know, they obviously knew what they were driving into, otherwise they wouldn't have been going there. But I think the decision to engage like Foch B and Bliskas, meanwhile you know that the other tanks from the opposing team are going to be shooting at you, bad call.
I think either way is a doomed scenario almost, Key, if you think about it. You either push the middle with 430Us and you get shot from the top, or you try to push the top, but that is not as easy as you make it sound, because when you're pushing the top, they simply roll back behind the ridge towards the tanks in the middle, and then you still have to go over with the 430Us nonetheless, because, you know, 430U gun pressure non-existent. So like either way, you're forced to dive either the Udas and the Mivi, and then you get shot by the Bliskas the moment you come over, or you try to dive the Bliskas and you get shot by the Mivi and the Udas. It's honestly, I think, a scenario in which you don't successfully pull this off either way unless Mafia is badly positioned.
Which obviously they were.
I don't think there's a call to make there that will really save the game when you have this lineup that needs to push and needs to find an engagement in which the 430Us can survive and start pumping their DPM. And you saw Adamek was not able to do that. He got 2 shots off, of which one connected. It was a kill shot for like 28 damage. I mean, kills are important, but the 430U there needs to be the damage dealer. So they weren't able to do that. But then round number 2, you know, Mafia was sitting back. They weren't really making any of their own moves. They were waiting, trying to receive, but just like in random battles, 8-3 is always the weak point on Westfield. Almost always.
Yep. And to be honest, I think the way that Mafia played that one was not ideal either. You would have thought that the punish would have been a lot better on towards the cross, but realistically, who was able to shoot? Like the Udas and the MVY. That's not a lot of firepower if your BZ is getting pushed by like double Bluska or something like that. So I think the tactic that Mafia had there didn't properly work out, especially since they were leaving the information tower in the north open to just, you know, getting taken. And then obviously the opposing team, when they get the information tower, they can, you know, immediately realize that, like, hey, that BZ, like, who's realistically defending him? No one. All right, let's go. So I think kind of an oversight by Mafia there. At the end of the day, still 1-1 on Westfield. I mean, kind of a normal result. I wouldn't say expected, because, like, I don't think Westfield is hard split 1-1.
But
yeah,
according
this
to
now
your
leads...
prediction, it was expected.
I mean, you never know which of the rounds the teams take, right? But I wasn't going to brutally count out the team of Ping here and give it 3-0, like, filled it. But obviously that prediction, like, I think he misread the script.
I mean, Moff is just going to be very happy in the background, right? He's going to be gloating. He's going to be like, oh my god, I might catch some points on Phil. I have no clue what the standings were. I just know that he was upset. Sneaky Phil, though, if you think about it, huh?
Right now Phil is leading with 14 points. I'm second with 13. Then comes Moff with 9. Never mind. Then you come with 10, and then Moff with 9.
Oof. But like, you know, makes us do predictions for day 1, and then all of a sudden has some like scores, you know, like after the day. You're like, huh? It's out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's see how it'll go. By the way, you were catching up in the last match of Sunday a little bit, the one where you predicted for Hit to win over Mafia, and all of us others didn't do that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just I'm just mentally ahead, I guess. But then I also like predicted Bobbers to win and Darkside to win. But that we all go wrong, though. That's the funny part.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Darkside, that victory, or that loss rather, was interesting to see. Anyway, the wait is over, and we are gonna go towards Pilsen, and Ping are still looking to pick up their first OLS points here. Coming in with a BZ75 Centurion AX, a 430U, double Bluska, a Forshby, and a Tissak.
Mafia coming in with a E100 triple band, a 430U, a Forshby, and an Archon Panzerwagen.
All right, Tisak, obviously always an interesting choice when it gets picked. There is some things that the Tisak can do that every other tank cannot. So let's see, first of all, the openings. Mafia don't really care about the western part of the map, it seems. They're sending Batchat very aggressively towards the coal piles with the RHM to boot. And on the other side, Ping, they are going west with triple TD and middle with that BZ-75, who is immediately going to secure the strike if he doesn't get any resets off. This looks a lot like something cap-oriented by Ping.
If they can take the mid-strike, at least, that would be a possibility. They're a bit slow on this cap, though, Key, because they already have the strike in the coal pits. With Kono, he's taking that. But you still have David and Jacek there in the Tisak and the X, holding it down. But this move down the 2-line, so far not spotted. They will potentially bounce on towards Orchek, who's pulling around the corner, but not before taking 1, taking 2, taking 3 even. And Click in that Forge B, just committing forward, but YOLO already waiting. Kono's going to be there as well, and Conrad getting in position. Click needs to be very careful, but they have found this E100 in a little bit of a pickle as he drops towards 974 HP. Profuse is going to get pushed on next in that 430U, and Ping have not gone for the cap. Kihan have gone past the cap. They're trying to find these isolated guns, and Mafia under-prepared for this whatsoever. They're gonna lose not 1 but 2 guns for this. They are establishing crossfire, but you know as well as I do that losing multiple guns usually is pretty detrimental for your tactic. But look at Adam Ekihan in return. He's given Mafia an opening.
Indeed, Adamek committing a little bit too far with that 430U, and this is the opening that Mafia have been looking for, that are still up in HP, by the way. 2k, despite being down 2 guns as of now, still haven't picked up Adamek, and Kono with a pretty good crossfire position is able to deter the Bruskavitzers from committing in further. Click taking another shot on the cross as well, but Kono now finally able to get Adamek and get their first kill of the game as well. Still 2.5k HP advantage for the team in blue here, and I'm not sure if I like David committing here on the field against the Batchat. Seems to get a good surprise here, together with that Tisak as well. YOLO now scrambling to provide support for Yuzek in the Batchat, who has to run away. All the shells in the clip have been spent.
The cap is getting started now, though, for a set of Click. They have 2 on it, so 40 seconds, but there could be a reset with the strike from the middle on towards YOLO if they opt to use it. I don't think they do, so YOLO will be having that strike as an emergency decap. But Kihan, look at the blue tanks, currently very far away from that cap. There will be 1 reset from the strike, but look at the cap. They're splitting up. They're trying to make it so that YOLO can reset max 2 people. He will probably find the Bliska and the Forge B in the north, which he does. Finds 2 of them, but Kono does move in the meantime in that batch at 25T. And you see Mafia is struggling even with that extra HP, just that gun down, that less positions that they can use, Kihan. It is annoying for them. Kono gets striked, but Kono does have great pen ratio against that Bliskovica. Evens out the score, and Click in that Forge B, no ability, so that damage is permanent. Marcel, was he on time with that? Is a good question, but now Kono is the ambush ready and waiting as YOLO finds Miku. Mafia is restoring order, but Jacek coming in with the sack. Kono has found himself in trouble as well. Click will remove him. He wanted to get 1 or 2 kills, but instead he gets himself removed from the battle. And I don't think Marcel was on time with that ability either, Kihan. So Ping has potential here, but they've made it really, really hard on themselves.
Yeah, they've made it harder than it needs to be, as Lucky there with the potential to one-shot the Forge B of Marcel is going to first of all block the cap and maybe give some time towards Jacek in that Tisak. Now, however, the information tower getting popped for the side of Mafia. And they obviously have that gun advantage. Click cannot peek any longer in that Forge B here. Is also a possible one-shot for a strike even, as we can see that Mafia is trying to play this one very, very slow and just use the strikes and the information towers to their advantage. Now, YOLO is going to pick up the strike. And this means that, you know, Lucky taking the damage that he does is probably not going to survive. Yuzek from the outside with the Batchat is able to remove the Bliskovica from the game, and this means that Ping now are fighting 2 versus 3.
I think this was Ping's opportunity to make it match point, Kihan. They had Profuse and that E100 just isolated, but we can still see his burning wreck there on the left-hand side, Key. That 430U. I personally find that to be an overcommitment. And Yusek gets blinded once though by Click, who's now emptying his clip, but in return, YOLO with the strike from the field will shut him down and leaves Jacek the last one standing in the sack. Bieki, Mafia, Ping had this. They had this in the bag, I think, but some overcommitments, they're costing them very dearly. The opening strategy was great though, but some individual plays.
Yeah, the opening strategy was great, but I think Adamek with that 430U overcommitting, absolutely. I mean, Jacek is now going to try to do what he can. There is still a possibility, obviously, because all of the tanks by Mafia, or from Mafia, are essentially very, very paper. And he is a Tesak, so quite a lot of damage in the clip. But now, I'm not sure if he wants to keep going here. Out in the open, takes another shot. Now he's a one-shot for him. The Batchats as well. Conrad still with one remaining in the clip is going to drive in and most likely secure the victory for Mafia as he does. Really making sure that this shot is going to hit. And Mafia are going to go to match point 2-1.
Again, I think if you're Ping, you're kind of in an LTP scenario there where you're like, we had this. We still had this. They had an E100. They had a 4 to the U. They were going to make it a 7-on-5. And if not 7-on-5, they were going to have done a lot of damage. If the E100 survives on, let's say, 600 HP, he's no longer a factor in the battle whatsoever, in my opinion. So you don't need to commit there with the 4 to the U. To make sure that he dies. It's not needed, it's not necessary. You already have so much, and even then they still almost brought it back, but Mafia was able to do a lot of damage for, you know, that commitment there by the 430U, and as a result they were able to pick it up. And I mean, you don't want to highlight one player too much, Key, because usually it's not one player that loses you the battle, but in this case it's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. Adamek basically offering himself up literally as a free kill as he didn't do any damage at all is quite horrible for the efforts of Ping in this match, because they so far didn't look hopeless. Like even here with Adamek suiciding, they were standing a pretty damn good chance of taking the round. But Mafia, I think, with more experience across the board, just, you know, weathering the onslaught, pun not intended, and just standing strong and bringing it home. There wasn't a lot of difference at the end in regards to HP and guns. It was a very, very close one, but I think here the experience of the Mafia players, the difference factor.
I mean, they did a really great, you know, they stayed calm no matter what was happening, right? Like, it was a really tough situation for them to be in. But they were given the opportunity to get back in it. They did grab it though, which is of course, you know, Mafia as a great team is not going to let an opportunity like that slide to bring it back, you know?
No, absolutely not. It takes two to tango, and in this case it took Ping to throw and Mafia to catch it. So let's see if this is going to be a nail in the coffin here for Ping, or if Mafia are going to slip up once more, as we do see the Mafia lineup double E100, triple Batcha, the 430U, and an RHM.
Ping returning the Tesak, the E4, the E3, the 4B, the 430U ×2, and an AX. What do you think yourself of the Tesak on this map?
I think it's kind of a gimmick. But I'm not really the biggest fan of it, simply because Pilsen usually has a lot of pretty heavily armored tanks, actually, and the Tesak doesn't do particularly well against those. This time around, however, Mafia, they do have that triple Batcher together with an RHM, so that means there are a lot of targets for where that Tesak can actually do a crap load of damage. Conrad and YOLO with the RHM and the Batcher driving on towards the field. They're going to spot Jacek there in that Tesak, who probably should tailgate it out of there, because the 1v2 is not going to happen.
But look at the red tanks, and they're coming in mass to support him. You have the double 430 arriving, the X, the Push B, but already you have an E100 actually taking the mid-strike. So that's interesting as well. And double bad shot on that 0 line waiting. Yolo does take a little bit of damage, but Jacek as well taking a shot from that E100 for that reset. Marcel getting planed, takes a shot as well. And now Ping is starting to make their move with that 4-3U, and I think they're catching YOLO a little bit. Big HE shell there against him, ×1. He tries to climb up. He does make it up, but not before taking 1, 2, 3, and he's out in that RHM Panzer wagon. Ping, yet again, with another opportunity to do something in this match.
Absolutely good pickup coming through by the team of Ping here, but Mafia, if you look at the HP, they have made Ping bleed heavily for this. I mean, it's crazy to be a gun down, but yet 3k HP up still. And now I think on that 1-2 line, the double bat shot of Mafia is going to take a lot of map control. That being said, Profuse didn't see this one coming as it was unspotted until it was too late. He tries to retaliate on towards Lucky, but Profuse probably right now screaming that he's being charged by double TD, so his teammates better do something while he's dying.
But like no ability activated there, takes a 1-2 from the TDs, and the strike hits home as well. Double 400, like actually down towards a one-shot. Kono finds Miku off screen, and now Adi in a little bit of trouble as well in that 430U between Kono and Yuzek. He has to hold that hill for dear life, but Yuzek moving in with 4 shots available. And that move on Profuse Kihan, it looked good on paper, but the reality of it was not worth it whatsoever. He had the coverage. The initial peak was probably fine, but that re-peak, that staying there to try and do more was not. And Yuzek finds a beautiful clip on the side of David, puts him down towards a one-shot. And now, when we look at the situation we find ourselves in, yes, Mafia did lose the first tank, but they have pulled quite a number in return on Ping.
Yeah, exactly. Kono now boosting up here with that bad shot, as well as going to remove David and the Centurion from the game. And if you take a look at the HP, they have actually somewhat evened out, but this doesn't mean that Ping is making a comeback here, as now Yuzek finds the 430 as well, leaving only 3 tanks available for Ping here. And yes, there once again is a Tisak, but here Click with the ability pop, it hasn't even come to the healing part of the ability yet, gets shut down before he can make any magic happen. And the 430U with the next kill on towards Lucky. Once again, it's only Jacek in that Tisak being left. He picks up one more before being sent to the grave, and Mafia are going to win this match in regular time. And for both of us, that means 2 points as well for the prediction game. And for Mafia, that actually means 3 points on the board.
Yeah, Moff was probably, you know, sweating, puffing, like, please win 3-1, please let me get a little closer to Phil. But is the scoreline fair? Because that is going to be questioned. Yes, at the end of the day, yes. If you don't convert the advantage that you get, then you only have yourself to blame at some point. And Ping was hopeless in round number 1, but the rounds after Kihan, these last 2 Pilsen rounds, I really feel like they had it, and they failed to convert it, which, I mean, they're going to be very unhappy about it, because not even a tiebreaker means not even 1 point. So it's sad for Ping, but if you don't convert the advantage, you don't deserve the points.
Absolutely. I think the biggest problem here by Ping was not being able to hold on to the advantage that they got themselves into in the battles. And if you're not able to do that, then you don't deserve to win the rounds that you lose. So at the end of the day, good job to Mafia. I think they had quite some weird rounds as well. Like, I think they have to go back and look at the Westfield that they lost, definitely. And I think also both of the rounds on Pilsen here, there were things in those Mafia strategies that, you know, completely got exploited by Ping. But luckily for Mafia, they were able to still pull through with it. So I guess, you know, they get away with it. They have a blue eye. It's going to be fine. They will be able to, you know, keep going. At the end of the day, it's 3 points out of 3 possible ones for Mafia. So good job to them, and also good job to the two of us for casting this one. We're going to be back with the next match in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Onslaught.
Bring in the year of the Wood Snake in World of Tanks. Prepare for a lively event. Complete the stages to get different rewards. Among them will be red envelopes, giving you gold discounts on unique offers. You can find them in the Magic Cats shop. This is your chance to score rare premium vehicles and handy resources at great prices. Celebrate Lunar New Year with your favorite game.
Here we are, back again, and Daki is smiling because we probably have the match that most of us were looking forward to most today coming up. Darkside against LTP. It's difficult to make out a clear favorite, despite the standings where LTP have been performing, I would say, above expectations.
Sure, but this is like really a match. LTP is high in their rankings. They've also had a bit easier opponents to start with, Keyhand.
I mean, they played Cashback, and arguably not the easiest one.
They played?
Yeah, well.
It's not about Cashback yet. Who are the other two teams they played?
Ping and Bobbers. So the two teams that currently are on 0 points. But that also means that LTP against those two teams was able to get clean victories. Darkside, they had a very, very good start into the season by beating Hit and Run, and I think it was clean, like 3-0, which no one realistically expected. But since then, it's been a little bit downhill.
Yeah, they're just continuing last season's performance. Just to refresh the memory, last season they had a similar thing. They also beat Hit and Run, and then they went up and down, got some tiebreakers, but were never really able to establish themselves again in the top half of the leaderboard, and then did not make it to phase 2.
I think phase. No, actually, the playoffs. They made it to phase 2.
Sorry. Confusing some things. My bad, Kian, my bad. And then, of course, LTP, a team with less of a track record in OLS, but has a name outside of that. They've been playing together for a long time, and they're very much the happiest team in the league. They're just happy to be here, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, Joy doesn't really look like he's enjoying himself, but he has brought the baguette to aid himself. And yeah, definitely, at least in my opinion, the coolest player pictures, simply because a lot of them were able to get their jerseys delivered in time. You want to know what? I ordered one for myself as well.
That's great.
So I'm going to be... no. No. But yeah, community predictions actually in favor of LTP, 59%.
This is very close. I mean, rightfully so as well. I thought about this one the longest. Like, who's gonna win?
I think there are good arguments for and against either team. For Darkside, obviously, they have been spotty with their appearances. I mean, getting 3-0 against Hit and Run is obviously great, but after that, not so great from there. And for LTP, yes, they did get the 2 victories against Ping and Boborus that were, in my opinion, kind of expected. However, then they also had a super good showing against Cashback, where the only thing standing in between victory and themselves, a victory between them and victory, my goodness, were themselves, because they just weren't able to, like, convert. That being said, a pick and bans in between both of those teams. Darkside removing Studzianki, LTP removing Westfield. Then we're gonna start off on the Darkside pick of Ghost Town, which obviously is a very, very versatile and technical map. And LTP then directly want to bring it to Pilsen. Cliff, tiebreaker if we get there.
Yeah, Pilsen, we just saw it between Mafia and Ping. It's a bit slower, but Ghost Town is also not very fast. This matchup is going to be more of a tactical one, normally, because of the maps that have been picked. Ghost Town, Pilsen, not the fastest maps in the pool. Of course, you can force Ghost Town quick engagements if you want to, but between these two teams, I don't know if we're going to have the very, very quick cap plays coming out, Keyhand?
We'll see about that. Most notably, I'm not sure if Darkside played Ghost Town already, but LTP certainly did against Ping, and I vividly remember that because there were misplays by both teams, especially in the first round in between them, where then Ping was able to pick it up. But in the second round, LTP completely wiping the floor with Ping. I think they got like a clean 7-0 on the board. And that was all of the back of some, light tanks not really having the best time there. And I think it's time for me at least to say sorry to Adamek, because he was playing the bush line properly. He wasn't peeking out, but he got planed. But yeah, LTP, I mean, they have shown that they're able to get some great results, especially also against Cashback. But will they be able to do it today against Darkside? I mean, winning for LTP here would be huge. That would essentially guarantee phase 2 at least.
Yeah, these points will put them across the board. Actually, we all went the same way anyways. That's crazy disrespect to LTP. 3-2 across the board, except for Phil, who went 3-1.
Once again, maybe Phil thinks he knows more than we do, but as the past match proves, he can be very, very wrong.
I mean, maybe this is our opportunity to come back in it, Kian. Huh?
I think with the past result, I even caught up. Like, we are tied for a lead now in the prediction game that we have going.
What's the prize, though?
Bragging rights. That's
not a prize.
It's better than nothing.
It's your goal or your task now, Kihan. You're used to getting managed anyways, so it's your task now.
Used to managing.
Yeah. We keep telling. The only thing you manage is an Excel spreadsheet, buddy. All right. So it's your task to figure out what's the price for winning the prediction game. Who's winning this game will remain to be seen, as LTP bringing triple 100, double BAD, and double RHM.
Exactly. Interesting lineup coming out from LTP, and Darkside, I guess, a little bit more standard, at least for Ghost Town, with a double RHM as well. However, that is kind of where the similarities end. I mean, double Batchat too, but they are going to be playing completely differently with a Leopard 1, an IS-7, and a can opener to boot.
The can opener is a specific pick key hand. I don't know if we've talked about it a lot, but what is... why is this can opener picked? If you guys look at E7, you see there's a strike and a staircase, right? Now the can opener came out a little large out of the factory, and it's that large that it's actually able to peek over the staircase, Kihan, and reset the cap.
Yep. I mean, it's obviously useful in other positions as well, but I think it being that tall is the reason why it's getting picked. Vladislav here with the first damage of the match here on towards Synops in that E100, but that fat German super heavy obviously doesn't really care about taking a singular shot from an RHM as of now. 2 strikes getting capped immediately by a Darkside here. Meanwhile, LTP responding with an information tower for themselves. They have already gotten the strike on the 7-8 line, which they now used to reset at least one of the 2 strikes that Darkside is attempting to get. So for now, a little bit of damage being traded back and forth, but it's mostly about the positions that the teams have, as the RHM of Nepal is now going to take the second information tower as well. Seems low, like he got reset. Actually, good plane coming out by Vladislav.
And of course, this is the difficulty, right, on this map, Kihan. Having those double lights means that the rest of the team, of the enemy, is like almost permanently plain, and Darkside right now not really in a good position. I mean, look at Xank, look at Vladislav, down pretty low in that Leo RHM combination. 963 and 880.
Absolutely, and this is going to open a little bit of the map up for the Batchat of LTP that's now driving over the K line. If you take a look at the minimap here, and obviously Vladislav and Kitsunk, they do know that this is a threat. This is why they are repositioning. However, the Batchat seems to have found the can opener of Hellmind that takes 1 or 2 even. Shelby on the other side also taking some damage here. Humongous damage actually, as Aching shuts it down. First blood to LTP.
I still changed my prediction?
Well, no, we already had it on screen. I'm very, very not sorry about this, as LTP are looking to be in prime position for picking up the round as well, because take a look at the HP pools that either team has available.
It's just easy squeezy so far for LTP. I mean, they've taken the cap, they've taken the 4-5 line, they have K4 and A4, which is a rather unique experience, Kihan, having both the balconies at the same time, allowing you with crossfire on both parts of the map. Synops there seems to have done a negative trade and will die as a result of it. Giving Darkside maybe some way back in, but realistically, Kihan, they're still down so much. Joy will find Dreamer, Batchat versus Batchat, but Joy just with more HP available. I think he did miss a shot there, giving Dries an opportunity to kill him, but not before Dreamer will fall. And Darkside, they're trying, but their positions, Kihan, are ones that are very, very difficult to play from us. Aking should find Trash Panda in that IS-7. Will he though? He's getting help from the RHM. That's an unfair 1v1. Trash Panda peeks, but Aking shuts him down. And with 5 tanks left standing, sure, it wasn't as clean as it could have been for LTP, but they had everything on this first battle of Ghost Town.
Absolutely. Darkside just bleeding left, right, and center against the tanks of LTP that now are in the cap as well. The 2 not very healthy 100s, at least Aching here, down to a slither of HP, but obviously it doesn't matter how healthy you are when you can just cap it out, as Tankistador with a shutdown on the Leopard 1 as well. Does take a strike to the face, and now Dries does find Zeton out in the open with that RHM that is surely gonna go down, but Dries now obviously exposed on his own, and this leaves only Vladislav alive here, and LTP are going to cap it out as well. So good start for the Frenchies.
Beautiful start for them, but also it's not just the fact that they won, but it's also the way how they won. I mean, it was close here at the end, but I think they made it close because they just wanted to finish. They could have done a lot of things there. They had so much control over the match. Having both A4 and K4 is a luxury position, and I don't think you will find any team in at any given point in the near future.
Yeah, exactly. Normally you need to hold at least one of those balconies to be able to exert some kind of map control. But obviously some good planes by the light tank players of LTP, just completely nullifying those positions for the team of Darkside. And this in turn means that, you know, the team that we all predicted to not win the match is currently ahead 1-0. They need to double down on it, however, if they want to, you know, win the match for themselves, as we do see A-King coming in with top damage.
4.3 on that E100. Tankistador, I think, has been playing very well for LTP. His name comes up quite often. 4K for him as well. Signups on the bottom there since he got tracked on the corner, which of course is not the greatest thing. But yeah, Shelby not really having an impact in this battle.
Yeah, no. I think at the end of the day, the way how to characterize this first round is that the LTP lights simply outplayed the ones by Darkside on an individual level, and then at some point you're just not able to come back as a team if both of those LT fights completely go the way of the other team. So good job here to Nepal and Zeton for taking control of the round and netting them the first point. They've got a way to go, but it's a good start for the team from France.
That's what they need. I'm honestly finding it weird that nobody predicted for LTP out of the four of us. I really was expecting, like, I don't know, Moff or Phil to do it, you know?
Yeah, well, no one did apparently, so that is where we currently are, but I think we will soon get into the second round of Ghost Town, and this is where we're going to find out if round number one was a fluke and, you know, Darkside are going to equalize the scoreline, or if LTP are immediately going to go to match point. Quite a, oh my god, quite a change in setup coming in from LTP. A can opener, an E100, a Batshot, a Hurricane, but that's kind of it with the fighting tanks, because the rest is actually triple light tank, double RHM, and a T100.
Not looking good for them against the dark side. E100 IS7, 11B, bad double for TDU, and an E4, so 7 combat tanks. These 3 light tanks are going to have to play out of their minds to really achieve anything.
Yeah, and I think this is always the problem on Ghost Town, is if you go triple light tank, then the opponent can always go 0 light tanks. That is obviously always a possibility. A good spot coming out from the team of LTP, so one of the planes really doing well here. They see 6 out of 7 tanks, and this means that also they can afford to go for a lot of the resources that are scattered around the map. But is it going to be in time is the question, because Darkside already have 3 tanks on the cap. Trash Panda coming down in that IS-7 and manages, I think, to reset the artillery strike. Now it's going to be up to Synops to reach the hold down with the can opener and start dishing out the damage against the tank's capping. But Shokorix here will try to prevent that from happening. A-King and Tankistador currently scrambling to get those resets. Dreamer finally being HE'd, and the E100 is there, but this is probably only what Darkside waited for, because now they can pounce. They've got 7 combat tanks available. Make that 6 though, as Trash Panda goes down and out, but now A-King will be found.
Yeah, A-King will be found for the reset, but that's also because he had to reset at this point. He's gonna fall to Vladislav, but look at the HP it has even out. Tankistador needs to make it out of there in his T100. He has Zidane in support as well, and now Dreamer trying to continue on towards Nepal, but you can see them scrambling in those light tanks. But still, that is an important note to make, Gihan, that look at the HP on LTP. There is a lot of it on these lights that are just running away right now, trying to scatter to the winds to try and find different angles, and Nepal instead gets found by Hellman and Shokrix, which give a nice combination. Of course, Gihan, we cannot forget that because the 1-1B exists on Darkside's side, they have that permanent Inspire almost, which also, of course, boosts the view range of tanks, because it's like a brothers in arms across the board. So it's going to be a lot more annoying for these RHM Panzer wagons as well.
Exactly, and now Dry's here, flipping the coin 50-50. Where did the RHM go? He does end up with the wrong choice here of trying to go to the corner. Of course, that's going to net him a nice position, but at the end, he might also just get farmed there. That being said, though, Darkseid have once again established positions on the cap. 16 seconds only remaining, and that should not be enough for Joy to pick up the stride. So once again, someone needs to come close. Someone needs to make a sacrifice for LTP.
2 seconds left. Who's gonna do it? The strike, it's over. It's over. They did not take the other strike in time. Base capture. The mini strike was the last chance for LTP. But yeah, they got hard counter there in this round. Good stuff there from Darkseid. I mean, sacrificing an entire I7 for that cap play is a dangerous game to play for any team. But they made it work. You know, if you only have 4 tanks that are non-light tanks, of which one is a CS63, if you lose that E100, it's pretty impactful.
Yeah, I mean, extremely squishy lineup coming out by LTP here, and yeah, when you run these kinds of lineups, then you always obviously run the risk as well of, getting countered simply by the opponent picking a combat lineup and going for the cap. That is the biggest danger that you can run into, and that is exactly what LTP ended up doing. And this means that after the first map, we are going to be on even footing. I think LTP still looking a little bit like the stronger team, just because I think, if you get hard countered, it sometimes is how it is. But they did end up taking the first round, and I think they ended up just winning it on player skill. So right now, slight advantage in my opinion for LTP, but Darkseid have shown that, if they get advantages like this, then they're not going to let that go. So yeah, Ghost Town 1-to-1 split. Pilsen, once again, is going to be our second map of the day.
You can again force engagement. However, Pilsen is not really the map where, unlike Ghost Town, you see multiple lights come out.
I mean, you barely ever see 2. Like, 1 is kind of normal.
Back,
2,
like when we saw 2 lights last time on Pilsen. So even if you bring 7 fighting tanks, you still only have a 1 tank advantage, but lose out on all the information in return. So that's a risky play to take. All right, Kihan, we're a team now apparently.
Looks like it. Let's hope together that Darkseid is gonna win and that I get my first lead on the leaderboard of the prediction sheet. But yeah, seems like Moth has, switched sides. And gone with LTP as well. Interestingly enough still, though, the numbers didn't change. So 3 of us predicting for a tiebreaker.
I think that just comes down to, when we looked at this match, none of us were really like, yeah, I don't think this... it's like, nobody really expects either of the teams to blow each other out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Well, let's see.
Some people might, but it's not realistic.
No, and I don't think what we've seen by the team is enough to warrant that either. That being said, LTP, triple Batshot, 1 CS63, Synops in the Jagdpanzer, and then we have an E4 and an RHM.
Darkseid has opted for the 7 combat tanks, an E100, triple band, a Centurion X, a V4, and an E4.
All right.
Happen this though.
I don't think they... Well, let's see if they want to go for it. I think there are better lineups to start capping with. I mean, what exactly are you going to push on the cap? Realistically, it needs to be, fast tanks. But that kind of eliminates sort of the E4 or the V4 simply because they don't get the ability charge at the start of the game to get close towards the cap, as now we see the Batchat and the CS63 going to make it through to the middle of the map, where Tankistador with the CS63 is going to be that little bit faster. Vladislav and Trash Panda here on a mission, though, with that double Batchat in the west of Pilsen.
Yeah, but I think they really wanted that middle strike, and they won't get it because Tankistador stole it in front of their noses with the CS63. Not a fan of the CS63 on the strike, not a fan of the Batchat on the strike either, Kihan, if I'm completely honest. But it does give LTP not one, but 2 strikes, triple strike, even if you count in the mini strike from the CS63. So if Darkside's plan was to take the strike in the middle and then cap Kihan, well, that's off the charts altogether at this moment in time.
Yep, and now the information tower is going to be even worse for the team of Darkside. That, all of the flanking potential that, for example, the Batchat had is now not really going to be a thing anymore. And it also hands a lot of information, a lot of map control towards the team of LTP that confidently have sent Aking towards J1 as well. So anything that would be happening over the one line to threaten the Akpans of Synops is going to be found, is going to be seen, is going to get countered here. As Dreamer takes a shot to the first face, I think the first shot of damage of the game, interestingly enough, but now the cap is starting to accumulate as Shockerics takes 1k.
29 seconds left as Dreamer and Xank are making their way towards the north. Rise immediately gets reset by the strike, but there's still 3 tanks here from LTP, and that Centurion X is driving a little bit through the open, but it's at a non-reload, so they do find some success here. There's still the light in support for LTP, so they can't really go too far, but Noxious there caught in the open with his bands down. One more shot will put him towards a one-shot, but Dreamer does not connect it. And now Xang trying to make it across. This is a bit optimistic, you could say. He might take some damage, but no, he just gets across. So Darkside establishing some positions back on the map, but they have bled for this. They've taken a lot of damage on Dries in that E4, and even with Xang in that position, Kihan, he's kind of by himself.
He's kind of by himself, and he also has the problem of, and that problem is called Zeton here. With that Batchat, he might just be able to blow Kitsunk out of the water. Dreamer taking more damage in the meanwhile. And one of the Batchats of Darkside, they have been trying to get that strike on the west, on the one line once again, but weren't able to do so. And now Zeton with the long rotation around. He doesn't have enough clip potential to completely take out the Centurion, but he can take large chunks of health away from that British tier 10 medium tank Kitsunk. Now feeling pressured into a push. He's even gonna get planed once again by Nepal and Noxious. In the meanwhile, he wasn't spotted. He is going to arrive as well with something to say about how long Kitsunk has left in this battle as Zeton and Noxious team up together with Nepal to get the first kill of the game.
The strike will hit on 2 targets for 800 and 400 respectively on Noxious, but Dreamer there crossing over Kihan is just not it for the side of Darkside. Now they're rotating with Trash, Panda and Vladislav across that AB line, but it's going to take a long time before they're even in position, and all this time LTP has been building their lead, have been consolidating on that, and now Joy and Aking in position to delete one of the Batchats. Trash Panda down towards the one-shot. That cross was never going to be it for Darkside. I mean, sure, Aking drops low, but he can afford such a trade as they have built quite a lead already. And with the positions that LTP has, Kihan, and the 7 tanks left standing, Darkside surely has no way back in this.
Yeah, good strike as well on towards Shockerics and Dries here, just putting them down even lower than they already were. Joy needs to be a bit careful in that E4, but now Tankistador even coming close in that CS63, and we can still see Synops in that mighty Yak Panzer. It doesn't matter that the E100 turret front was recently buffed against 420 pen. That is probably not going to matter, as it doesn't. Good shot in towards the E100. A strike on top of that, down to 19 HP. Dryza now starting to pounce up on Tankistador, but Shockerics falling, leaving Dryza as the single tank remaining, aching to pick it up. LTP on match point.
LTP find themselves on match point first, but this is really just according to the script so far, Key. When I'm looking at it, we predicted a tiebreaker win for Darkside. I'm not worried. Maybe you are, but full fate.
even if I was worried, I wouldn't say it because like Phil is in the same room as me and he would smile at me if I did that. So yeah, no, everything is going according to the plan. So let's see. Hopefully we are going to get more than one more round at least in this battle though, or sorry, in this matchup though, because so far I think the rounds between Darkseid and LTP have been amongst the most like interesting, except for the second one where, well, it was GG from the start in my opinion.
I mean, this one was also maybe not the most interesting one for Darkseid because, you know, that cross over the AB line, surely they get Xank in position, but they almost needed somebody to complement this position that Xank was playing. I think you need a Batchat at you know, the houses at A6, A7 next to the water where you can find your local RD player. Somebody covered there on that position to watch out for his AB line repressure, I think is almost needed for him to have a chance or a shot at surviving. Without that, I mean, it just gets pushed up and then Dreamer crossing over. It was a losing engagement.
Yeah, and I think once again it was kind of the same story as Ghost Town 1. I think LTP just got ahead in the information department, and they just used that to their advantage. They got more map control, they got both the information points, they got 2 strikes, and I think Darkseid, by themselves, they were also essentially counting on getting 2 strikes, but yeah, that was not how it shaped up to be, so at the end of the day, LTP take down this first Pilsen round here, and to be honest, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty comfortable. It looked like a well-oiled machine working together.
The lineups are the most interesting part to begin with. I don't know if I'm a fan of Pilsen without a light key hand, just because of the initial info.
I mean, if the last round is anything to go by, then that would get traction because the light won out against the no light. But this time, both teams not selecting to take a light tank, actually. It is full 7 combat tanks by either side. For LTP, it's going to be an E100, a Batchat, double CS, double V4, and an E4.
Darkseid bringing the double bat, the AX, the triple V4, and the E4. So both teams actually opting for no light tank. This is going to be a very interesting battle because they usually both end up on 1-2 line.
Yeah, they should. I think both teams probably also eyeing the cap for a little bit of pressure, but they're not going to know until it's too late what the other team has cooked up. Now, lineup for lineup, I actually favor the one of Darkseid a little bit because those CS tanks usually have quite a bit of trouble of dealing with the V4s. Both of those being sent in here now as well. This is interesting as to what's supposed to happen here. Trash Panda probably biting off more than he can chew. Hellmine now trying to get into the factory as well to provide a little bit of support, but he gets tagged by Tankistador in the E4 as well. So now this is 2 CSs DPMing down a V4, and LTP already collapsing in towards the cap, but going out of it now, seeing that they're gonna get a free pick on towards Trash Panda.
I don't know how free this really is, Gihan, because Nepal is out. Nepal out. Joy as well. They did not have the pen ratio required to delete Trash Panda nearly quick enough, and Darkseid is down on HP, but they do have that extra gun to their advantage right now. Takisa, they're picking up the strike in the meantime. That E100, though, carries a lot of HP for Aking, 4,000 HP, but Synapse marching on, pushing towards that 268 V4, but he got the information that his teammates in the Batchat 25T will be dealing with that, which is Zitten. But you can see even in Onslaught, with that improved dispersion and all the extra RNG factors, the V4 is still a very annoying tank. And as a result of this battle was over before we even really got to watch it. And it's going to be Darkseid currently edging themselves ahead in this one. But an opening from LTP with that double CS, but maybe they weren't expecting a V4 key.
Yeah, exactly. Very interesting opening coming out by LTP, but the counter strategy really from Darkseid. They had the perfect tanks to deal with that, and I think also good decision making by Trash Panda to keep going in towards the strike, to like put a little bit of distance in between himself and those pesky CSs that then would have trouble just gunning him down as they stood. And now LTP, I mean, it's not all over yet. It is still a 3 versus 4. Zeton here taking a strike. Tankistador getting the info, getting a good shot in towards Hellmind. And LTP now 200 HP more. But still, they have an uphill battle in front of them because Hellmind's still not one-strikeable.
I mean, they have started the cap and they will force Vladislav to use that... on this, and you can also see the interesting lineup there on the V4 because of the ability. Double repair kit and a med kit, so no food for sign-ups, just, you know, because sometimes you need it. It's a very old meta to have double repair kit, but it does get used from time to time.
Exactly, and especially on those Juggernaut TDs, that can be quite the thing because they tend to get tracked every so often. Now, Synops here with a good pickup has to sacrifice a lot of HP though, as Vladislav is able to pick up the Frenchman, and now it is a 2 versus 3 with once again HP in favor of Darkseid as well. And looking at the tanks, I would say I favor them as well for Darkseid, simply because double Batchat is extremely powerful in these late game scenarios.
And they have full field access as well. I mean, Tankistador and Zitten, realistically, Kihan don't really have an option here, to be honest.
No, they also need to make the move here because at this point in time, it's obviously more tanks killed by the side of Darkseid. So this means over time LTP need to make the move. It's them going to be driving in towards hull down / stationary tanks, and that is obviously never a good thing. I mean, maybe they will wait a little bit until they can pick up the Northern Strike, but the matter of the fact is also that, you know, Vladislav is already sitting on one, and Dries is capturing a second one. So even if Tankistador
I
goes
don't know if
the strike here...
Just to give you the heads up, I don't think Vladislav still actually has that strike.
Didn't he take the one from like middle?
No.
All right, anyway,
I'm not sure because like Tankistador just took a strike and he already had the strike icon, you know? Just to keep it in mind.
Well, let's see. The fact remains, like strikes or not, that it is the tanks of LTP that need to make the move here against Darkseid. They need to generate at least another kill for the rules to come to the point where the damage actually decides, because currently Darkseid is winning on tanks and they can just let the enemy come. And they do have the tools even to deal with a potential cap attempt from LTP coming out. Good information by Getsunk on towards Tankistador. Doesn't manage to penetrate his shot, but does it really matter? No. One strike gets used by LTP, so maximum one still currently available. But really, this is looking like we are headed towards a tiebreaker.
I mean, I would say this is a tiebreaker. Dries will have the jump on Zitten pushing in. He cannot clip Zitten in one go, but with a strike, that will be a possibility. Spots him out, gives the first 403 on the cross. Dries will readjust. That is the strike coming in. So both strikes used now for LTP, the ones that they did have. And Dries now on the edge there. Needs to be careful. Tankistador is closing the distance. And you see that loading bar, Kihan, he is loading high explosive. More likely than not. And now Dries gets spotted out by Zitten, and Zitten is trying to trade it out. He gets pushed and he gets striked as well. He went for the push on Dries, but Dries was ready. And now Tankistador in that E4 has no opportunities to win this, and Darkseid will bring it to a tiebreaker.
Yup, Darkseid holding on in this match here. This means that both teams are going to secure a point for themselves. But Tankistador, he blowing up, is going to confirm what we essentially already knew some time ago. But Darkseid played it out very, very nicely here at the end, securing themselves a second round as well. And yeah, this means that someone is going to get their prediction correct, and it's not going to be Phil.
It was still the 3-1.
Yeah.
I almost want Moff to win it, you know, just because he cares so much, and Phil for some reason also cares. Otherwise, he wouldn't make a competition after the first playday without informing anybody about it, which is like really shady behavior, if you ask me. But it'd be that way. I wouldn't expect anything less from a wargaming employee.
All right, but you know, it's starting to swing in all directions.
That was just, it was so freaky, hand, you know.
It's as free as you make it out to be. Anyway, damage numbers. I mean, obviously the tanks that were longer in the battle are gonna have the highest ones. Actually, Dreamer only with a single shot of damage. That is quite concerning, considering that Trash Panda even got 2 or 3 shots, actually. And he was the first one to be focused down, not Dreamer.
Yeah, but that double CS play down the middle key, I mean, they need to pen every shot almost to make that work. And even then, I'm not entirely sure.
Yep. Now I'm trying to figure out who will pick which side. To be honest, on Cliff, is there really a big difference in between like north and south for you? Okay, so production telling us dark side picking south here. I mean, I guess there is some slight differences, obviously, but to be honest, I think Cliff is one of the fairly balanced maps.
I was thinking about it. I feel like I'd pick North.
Yeah? I mean, you have the little, like, pocket position there.
I feel like you have just a little bit more access to some things, but I'm not sure. You know, I'm just a caster, kid. I don't have to pick sides anymore. Those days are behind me.
Just like your drumming days are over.
Yeah, I mean, from time to time, you know, like, yeah.
Oh, a little bit more. Oh, cute one. But yeah, Cliff is going to be the deciding map, and now I'm trying to think like how many points they have each. Obviously, LTP is now gonna have like the same amount as Cashback as well, but they are still playing today. So
I mean,
if Bobas don't manage like a huge upset,
how many points would LTP have now? Was it 9 or 10?
LTP would have 9 now.
Yeah, 9. So unless some crazy things happen, where ping magically
or 8 now. 8.
8.
Actually.
Even then, though, like, even then, if Bobbers does what is expected, and let's say that ping beats Bobbers, which I would predict for, unless ping picks up something miraculously against one of the other teams, LTP is probably very happy right now.
LTP
and LTP still has a few matches to play, Kihan. I mean, it's not like, you know, they have an opportunity to make it more than 8. If they pick up the round here 9, I'm gonna be honest, it's like a 90% chance that they're making it past the first stage.
Which is going to be like a very nice surprise, I think, for a lot of people, because at least for me, like ping Bobbers LTP before going into the season, there were like, those are the teams I would expect to fall out of at, you know, phase 1, at least 2 out of those 3. So for LTP, it's a very nice result to be this far up. And the thing is with the teams that they still have to play against, if they manage to take like a couple matches, then they are in prime position for phase 2, in my opinion, also points-wise, because as we keep saying, like the points don't get eradicated. The teams will just carry them over, and like getting a lot of points now just means you have a really, really yeah, you have accumulated them, and they're there to stay. They will help you in phase 2 as well, even if you don't like play out of your mind in phase 2.
Now, do we stick to our guts again? Do you think that Darkside's gonna win it?
So I think
Would
it
be
wouldn't
really
fair.
good for a prediction game, Key.
Yeah, exactly. I think it wouldn't be fair to change the prediction now. So I'm saying like this was all part of the script, and Darkseid is gonna take it. What about you?
I don't know, actually. For some reason, I think LTP is going to win, but...
We are going to find out sooner rather than later. I think the battle is going to start in like roughly 1.5 minutes, so we're not going to get tortured for much more. But yeah, Cliff, obviously a very, very volatile map, and I think a befitting end to a match that has been kind of back and forth. So let's see. I think Cliff is also one of those kind of maps where it is a lot more important how the players like play together and how the team communication works, like how the focus fire is called out, because obviously like the FC can only do so much, and the FC is primarily important on Cliff as well to make like the calls at the start with the information that they get. But after that, it's all about calling focus fire and calling the correct shots under time pressure. So yeah, let's see which team in the overtime here is gonna take home the additional point as we go into the last round of the second to last match of the day. And LTP are trying to win a tiebreaker on Cliff with triple 277, a singular CS63, an E50M, another CS with the Hurricane, and an RHM.
No light tanks outside of the T100 for Darkseid. A Forge B, 444 to the U, an AX, and a BZ75. So, looking purely lineups, Kihan, I would favor Darkseid. I don't know about you.
Yeah, same. Just because once again, I'm really not a fan of the 277. The 430U with its funny button can be extremely powerful in regards to its DPM, but obviously for that to happen, tank needs to stay in the game for quite some time, and actually the spots coming out on either team not really too good, and this is kind of concerning for LTP because their plane was thrown towards the approach of the upper side, and they just saw 2 tanks going up there, not more, and now Noxious and Tankistador might be in for a problematic awakening here as the Foch from the lower side starting to pour shots in towards those CSs down towards 1700, but they should be safe rather soon. A big prize, but well, they're up there now and they only have Shelby to play against.
What does Darkseid do as a reaction here? I mean, they are getting some shots on towards these tanks from the side of LTP, and yeah, only Shelby on top of the hill, of course, is free for them. And that HP lead that Darkseid have, I mean, with all the angles that LTP has, it is slowly but surely starting to disintegrate. They're now below the side of LTP. Tankistador tries to get Shelby, won't connect. Triple cap pressure still on. Noxious from above though finds an angle, and Vladislav there in the first B. Kihan, he did not have a great time whatsoever, and Darkseid very committed to this cap right now.
Darkseid indeed very, very committed to that cap, and they need to spot those 277s if they want to make the approach over, because this open field here from the donut towards the middle, that is where they need to make up the HP advantage again. That being said, Hellmind has now reached the hill in his BZ75. Shelby Walk now with a sneaky peek, but is not able to duck back into cover before Tankistador gets a shot in towards him. Another one from Shelby. Tankistador down towards 700, and Hellmind now on the top of the hill, but the cap is down to 4 seconds here. LTP needs to bring some resets, and the strike does ensure it before Sign-Up makes it in to block.
Drives and his friends in the 430U is now facing off against those 277s. Hellmine in that BC has not been able to find Tankistador, who's done a good job at ring around the Rosie. Can these 430Us now make the difference? Can this Forge B come in and actually be a nuisance as well? Big questions right now for both these teams. And Hellmine, you can see there in the BZ with that low DPM him really starting to struggle. Shelby needs to come in and help him a little bit. He will find Conquistador more likely than not, and Hellmine might find Noxious as well in the middle of the map. Hellmine finding Noxious on top of the hill. Dreamer will find Synops as well. It's starting to look good for Darkseid. They lose Trash Panda at the top of the hill though. Conquistador, a standout player for LTP, finds the kill on that pesky T100 as Nepal comes in with his light tank and picks up a 4 to the U of Dries, and now 4 on 4. Vladislav with the first B coming in, but immediately gets picked back up by Zitten, and now Hellmine on top of the hill has to play against Conquistador, and he has not had a good time whatsoever with this, and Conquistador seems to have predicted Hellmine as well. Does he want to peek this? No, he doesn't. Joy still alive as well. Dreamer out, and LTP smells the victory here. Xank and Hellmine, the last two tanks standing. It looked good there for a second, Kihan, but LTP hold on.
LTP so far holding on and holding strong. Kitsunk, the one with the HP here. Another good shot in towards Joy that is starting to trade it out against this Centurion. Another strike coming in here. Conquistador from the top as well. The strike making him a one-shot, and all of a sudden it's only Hellmine remaining. LTP on map number 1 and 2, they get the first round on the board. On map number 3, they get the only one on the board. 2 points for them. Top of OLS Season 2 for the time being.
Yeah, for LTP it's great, of course. I mean, Hellmine, that BZ struggled so much on top of the hill to find a kill against one of those CSs. I honestly think he went to the wrong side of the rock, Kihan. You know how we boosted left? It would almost be better to boost right and then have the T100 come from the left at the same time. So the CS has no real escape because he would have to turn around. But they didn't just lose the hill, they also lost the middle. So, you know, winning one would probably not result in victory.
I also wonder how Vladislav in that first B lost so much HP, because realistically what he was supposed to do was clip at the start of the battle on towards the tanks going up and then reload without, you know, taking a whole lot of damage. But somehow the tanks of LTP were able to deliver a lot of punishment on towards that first B. So yeah, not the best round here, and obviously an annoying result here for them at the end of the day. And LTP, the smiling victors here, Joy with another 5k round, and Conquistador once again standout performance from him. 3.7k damage as well, together with 3 kills. So LTP, keep on performing, keep on racking up those points, and that is obviously very, very good for them moving forward as well.
Sang there trying to do what he can in that AX, but yeah, you know, Hellmine in that BZ on the hill really did not have the greatest of times whatsoever in that regard. And yeah, the first B being more healthy could have done a lot, but LTP, they take it away. They needed an overtime, but I will say for them, really great job in the beginning of the season. If they lose out on this key hand for phase 1, it would be a disaster for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I think both of us deserve a little bit of a break before we are going to go in towards the next match, which is going to be Cashback against Bobbers, who are also still looking to pick up a single point in OLS Season 2. So we'll be right back. Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 is here. And you can make it truly special for participants and yourself. Boost the prize pool by predicting with team bundles. If your team wins, you can upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version. Contribute now. Well, hello there and welcome back to already the last match of the day. It's going to be Cashback against Bobbers, and if all casters, analysts and such that call themselves experts are to be believed, we have a clear underdog and they are called Bobbers, and we have a clear, very, very clear favorite, and they are called Cashback, the Season 1's champions.
I wonder if we all predicted the same thing, if we had the balls for it, but we'll see later. Yeah, Cashback, and they struggled against LTP, but the man in the middle of your screen has been carrying a little bit, winning some clutches, or he puts himself in those clutch situations, making sure his teammates die. Only time will tell. But yeah, they are an amazing team at this, and they are looking to continue the form throughout the season, preparing for the playoffs where we are certain to be seeing them, if you would believe any of the analysts whatsoever. And Bobbers, just like Pinkyhan, I think the important part here for them is to find some points.
Yeah, exactly. I am kind of reminded of old Clan Wars times where you always had those people that were trying to get into the battles because they needed points. The difference being here, simply being in the battle does not give you points. You need to win them if you're the lineup of Bobbers, and they've not been able to consistently do so, at least in the first 3 play days. This is also where the community prediction comes in. Once again, it's kind of brutal, but once again, I can see where it comes from. 93% for Cashback.
That's more than... Isn't that more? Doesn't Bobbers have more than who was it? Ping? Who? Yeah, they had 5%, right?
Yeah, but maybe some people just like the Bobbers logo, and they are like, you know,
key one day it's gonna come right out.
I was almost there. I was almost there. The Polish K-word Bobber. But yeah, Barbarian, we were talking about it already. Standout player for his team, 8.5 KD. That is certainly something. But I mean, then again, if your team wins a lot and you don't die a lot, those numbers do happen. Above 3k DPG, pen rate 94%. And after rewatching some of his shots on Himmelsdorf that were, some would call them lucky, others would call them illegal. Yeah, I certainly understand where the pen rate comes from.
Yeah, he's been gaming out of his mind, so he's been putting the team on the back of his back, in his back even. Danny here, I think, is also leading, so he's putting up some good numbers as well. But this is Mount Everest for Bobbers, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
And they have no Sherpas, no money, and no oxygen tanks to get to the top.
Talking about the money, by the way, I just went to the website and checked the prize pool. Right now, 67,326 euros, but obviously still growing. Thanks to everyone that bought bundles and making it happen. I mean, we've surpassed Season 1. I'm still wanting to get to those nice 69k euros that we all want to see. But first of all, now Cashback against Bobbers. Those will be the maps that we are going to see after Pilsen and Ghost Town get removed. Interestingly enough, from the Bobbers removing Ghost Town, but I think they were more pro for Airfield anyway, the last few matches. But this time around, it's going to be 2 city maps. It's going to be Ensk into Himmelsdorf. All right. And then the possible tiebreaker after 4 more maps get removed, it would be Studzianki.
I like it though. I like seeing a little bit of Himmels. I like seeing some Ensk as well. I mean, Cashback sending it to Ensk, no real surprise there. During the regular season, they're genuinely big fans of it. There was one map I think they played even more than Ensk last season, but Ensk was also like a bastion for them, a stronghold. And yeah, I think against Bobbers, picking a comfy map like that.
Well, let's see how it's going. I think last season, Cashback also were very, very good on Ghost Town, if I recall correctly. Like, they were the team that was known for picking like one tank of each, like super specialistic lineups, but somehow being able to make them work together. This time, it's gonna be Ensk, and Ensk is obviously one of those very small, brutal, brawly maps where the Juggernaut TDs, despite receiving a small nerf just yesterday, are still frequently picked, at least if some of the earlier maps are to be believed. And indeed, it seems like all of us had the balls to go for it. 3-0, all 4 predictions. That is...
Not very nice. Not very nice, Kian.
But then again, like, you're talking about possibly the best team against a team that so far was unable to secure any points.
Yeah. There's indeed a valid point, Kian. But 3-0 across the board is a bit rough.
Well, that means that the only way that Bobbers can surprise us in this match is positively, by picking up a round.
Sure.
And Bobbers are going to come into this one with an E100, a 430U, 1 Fosh B, double V4, 1 E3, and 1 E4.
Cashback, on the other hand, double E100, an AX, a Hori 3, a 268 V4, and double E4.
I think that is the first time we see the Hori this season, no?
It is, actually.
Kind of an interesting pick. I mean, obviously the AP pen is glorious in the Hori, but we'll see how exactly they're going to use it. Interesting color as well for Cashback with the pink here.
I like it.
As Liberty in that AX, he has been also one of the, if not the most impactful player, at least in Season 1. His plays obviously absolutely beautiful to see, as Danny and Ghost are going to start up the cap. And if you're wondering why Liberty was shooting there, he was trying to destroy the rail car so he can spot through it. That was not a missed shot. That was a purposefully missed shot, as Iset takes one by Lemmy Sundress for going through. Lemmy Sundress, they're popping the ability already. Is not going to be able to profit more from it, I don't think. And now Aka driving in towards the cap, wanting to stop it for the time being, and shots starting to pour into him, as now Cashback with a counter rotation through the south of the map.
Yeah, and Lemmy in the meantime starting to push up Zero Line though in that 430U, putting some hurt on the sides of Cashback. Twilight in that E100 getting tracked numerous times by Radim in that Fosh B, dropping him to 893 HP, and Cashback immediately down about 5,000 HP. That's going to be the predictions out of the window immediately, as Ghost, it falls towards a one-shot. Lemmy in that 430U now finds the back end of Little in that E4, who was already low from a previous engagement. Can Cashback actually claw themselves out of this one is a good question. Would be amazing if they did, but it's looking rather rough for them at this moment in time, as Squeezy gets that instant reload by picking up a kill. That is the Hori ability coming in clutch there for him, immediately converts it on towards Radim, who's going to take one from Barbarian as well, and I don't think he lives here, as Squeezy with the Hori comes in for another kill. And you can start to understand why this Hori is picked, because, you know, it gets reload reduction for lower HP targets that are hidden. I said finding tank elite before he goes down. Somehow Cashback is back and up.
Indeed, somehow Cashback at this point in time, 2,000 HP more than the Bobbers. Obviously, Dani starting to pick up the strike here, putting a good shot in towards Barbarian, where the damage reduction actually starts coming in. But Dadi obviously cannot really peek out against the pre-aimed E4 of Barbarian. Squeezy once again lying in wait here. Wants to get a little bit more of that ability to work for himself, and now Liberty in that AX in the city currently taking up a strike of their own. That would be an ability to reset as well the cap, as has been done now by Barbarian, who puts a big one in towards Dadi. And now Yosi here kind of singled out as well. Might be problematic if Liberty decides to go for it from the city. Good shot coming out from Liberty on towards Dani, not being retaliated upon even. And this means that Cashback somehow, in some way, shape or form, have managed to now claw themselves ahead by 3,000 HP.
Just crazy if you consider how far behind they were. Liberty finding a shot against Lemmy as well. And now Barbarian and company are starting to march forward in their TDs. Dani, I think, or Yosi will spot them out, but they will start the cap. Liberty will hold the window. No connection there on towards Dani. He did have a shot though, potentially on the second one. No, not connecting either. But double cap pressure put on for the side of Cashback, trying to force one of those tanks from Bobbers close. They're still taking it serious, even though they have a pretty healthy lead at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And now Dady here peeking with that E3 does get tracked, actually. But now the cap to 15 seconds. Missed shot coming in from Dady, who should be able to reload once more. Obviously, Yosi can peek from the sidelines as well. But in comes the strike here to once again reset the tanks in the cap. Twilight actually does have a heal, a group heal available, and that is crucial at this point in time because he can also heal up Twilight above the 750 alpha threshold of those E-tanks, as well as Liberty now starting to come in. Takes one shot by the pre-aimed Yosi here as well, but the strike by Liberty does pick up Dady, and now the Hori instantly reloaded once again after a kill. That is just absolutely crazy, but you can see why they picked the tank.
Yosi finds one more on Liberty before Twilight comes in and picks it up, and Cashback converting a round that looked like a disaster, but turns out to be a 1 for them anyways. I thought all the predictions were going to go out of the window right then and there, but no, they make it happen.
They absolutely do make it happen, and I think the Hori 3 actually was crucial in this game for being able to turn it around. I think at multiple clutch moments in this match, he was able to get that, you know, instant reload by killing someone. And yeah, we'll see as soon as we get to the damage numbers who was actually able to really pull through here for the team of Cashback. And it seems to be like, yeah, the Hori did some important stuff, but once again, Liberty on top.
Yeah, Liberty in this game, 5.6, so 850 from strikes. Which means Barbarian was actually top damage and regular damage. Goats in the chat, guys.
Goat emoji. And yeah, for Bobas, this is kind of concerning already because, like, they put themselves into prime position to pick up the round, and then all of a sudden it seems like, you know, Cashback shifted gear, started playing better. You know, sometimes that's actually everything that you need to do in World of Tanks is you start playing better, you win more games, and collectively, they pull through.
So, everything turns out to be alright, but if Bobbers is not going to win that round, I don't know what kind of round they're going to win.
That is indeed true, and indeed problematic for Bobbers. So let's see. Realistically, Bobbers already, it was critical for them even before the match started. It's even more critical for them now that they're behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really worrying, Key. If they're not going to win that type of round, right? Where they have, like, really just everything they want going for them, then I don't really know what they are going to win, you know?
Yeah. It is, you said it, it is a mountain to climb for the Bobbers. And the mountain has just become cold, icy, and slippery, it seems, as the Bobbers once again are gonna try something. A 430U, double Foch B, a Jagdpanzer, an E3, an E4, and a Tissac.
Cashback not opting for a light tank themselves, an E100, an AX, a Bliska, a double Foch B, a V4, and a WZTD. I mean, Bobbers are brave for making this light because, you know, they couldn't do it with 7 tanks. So now they're going to have to do it with 6.
6.5, maybe. But then again, it's not Liberty sitting in that Tissac. It is a Dady, and who is by no means a bad player, but Liberty is widely regarded to be one of the best Tisak players on the EU server, if not worldwide. So let's see. Bobbers once again with a fairly aggressive opening, but Cashback, they also have come to play. They're sending Triple Tank through the city, Triple Tank into Cap, and Arca to anchor behind.
But immediately the strike will be taken by Bobbers as well on the eastern side. But now you have to start utilizing that to sack somehow, which is another issue in a game like this. And Cashback wants to pressure down, but they're running into double Fush B and at the sack. I think they will take this engagement though, Kihan, if you're Cashback. And look at that, they're also pressuring the 5 line. You see those tanks converging in. Twilight, Iset, and Squeezy, they're just abandoning their E100. They know that they can find 3 as Radim already getting pounded. He only just now activates the ability. That's a little bit late, Kihan, if you ask me. Twilight comes in as well on Lemmy, who's clipping out against Liberty, trying to take out the most valuable player from the last round. But little with ability getting clipped by Dejdi is not going to do anything as Radim falls, Lemmy down, and Dejdi in quick succession. And Cashback take not 1, not 2, but 3 tanks of Bobbers to the grave. And you know what? The E100 is just fine.
Yep, exactly. Arca, they're in no danger of getting pushed. He's going to have a field day on the back of those tier 10 tank destroyers that somehow are caught on the 5 and 6 line. Now Twilight coming in with another big shot from that WZTD to somehow tell Danny that it's probably not wise to keep peeking here. Squeezy from the sidelines by the Bliska as well with a good shot, and the Ram to add insult to injury to finish off the 430U. Round number 1 seemed like it might have gotten close. Round number 2, an absolute demonstration of power by Cashback.
Yeah, really good stuff there from Cashback in this one. Just finding those 3 tanks on 1-2 line in very quick succession. Good stuff for them. They find it, they do what they're supposed to do, and they make sure that they get those 3 tanks. And at best, they were going to give up an E100. So quick 2-0 for them. Good execution. Bobbers not really positioned where you would want them to be.
Nope, absolutely not. And I think also, like, it just speaks to the individual level difference in between both of those teams. It's like in the city you have a 3v3, and yes, it's maybe not the best engagement because the Tisak is there, but they come out with, well, on one side 3 and on the other side 0 tanks. Absolute domination.
I mean, Tank Elite, they're getting 4k in, but pretty even spread across the board for Cashback, who have found quick succession. Good stuff from them. This round wasn't really close, and I think it's brave from Bobbers to play with the sack there, Kihan, because, you know.
I mean, it was also a little bit weird how they played with the Tisak, because at least for myself, I didn't really see what kind of advantage the Tisak would bring over something else there in the city. Maybe they were hoping for some Juggernaut TDs, but the fact that essentially the Tisak finds the 2 tanks that he doesn't want to end up against, like the double Fosh B and also a 430U on top, and then a WZTD to boot. Yeah. Not a good round for the Tisak, and as we just saw, the next map is going to be Himmelsdorf. And it feels like a very quick match because it is. Cashback already on the match point.
One more round on Himmels will put Bobbers in the grave, and I'm kind of expecting it to go that way, Kihand.
Yeah, although in the past on Himmelsdorf, Cashback has not looked undefeatable against LTP, namely, where it was a couple lucky shots and some miscommunication also on the side of LTP that ended up netting Cashback the victory, together obviously with the 1v2 that Barbarian was able to pull off. But Bobbers now 1.27 is calling, and it wants to tell Bobbers that, you know, there was a nerf to the 60 TP. 3 of those on the Bobbers lineup, together with a 430U, a Minotauro, and double E4.
No E4s for Cashback, but they are bringing the light to the BCTD. well, 1e4 of their own. He was hidden. A 430U, a Bachan, and double E100. Purely lineup-wise, Gihant, what do you think?
I mean, purely lineup-wise...
60 DPs were spotted by the plane, so Liberty was planing for the hill. And he knows now that unless they're going through the A-line, he saw everything that was going towards.
Yeah. So I think Liberty is going to play a very aggressive game on the hill. That being said, Cashback are actually sending the RHN up.
And a bat.
That's and the bat. So that's going to be 7 versus 5 on the lower side. However, Bobas, they need to kind of close the distance soon, because that bat shot from the hill can absolutely put down a world of hurt as soon as it gets to like unload against all the tanks on the lower side. He's also going to get the information tower. That's going to be full information available for the team of Cashback. Bobbers having started to bleed as well. They do manage to pick up a strike, but Dunny, he's taking damage for that.
And he's getting clipped now by Squeezy, who finds an angle, finds a shot, pushes Danny behind that 1-2 line building, and now, slowly but surely, they will probably start taking some angles against this Mino, against this 60 DPs, and Lemmy immediately takes a few to the face, 1.9k left on that Minotauro, but it's all damage that is stacking up, especially because they do have that light tank, and Little's even moving towards the cap now to really take that map control that Bobbers didn't have to begin with, but squeeze it down even further in their favor. Danny has his own battle there against Iset, and Little and Twilight trying to have a little bit of crossfire. Yozi picks up the strike, but Twilight taking one in return. No, Iset trying to push up. They gotta be careful though from Cashback to not be over eager in this one.
Yeah, they have to be careful not to be over-eager, but Lemisandra's taking even more damage on the way out with that Minotauro. I said now starting to push on the rails is going to take a TD shot to the face, reducing him to a mere 1100. So all of a sudden, Dunny, the more healthy one out of the two. And to be honest, I said on those rails, not really with a heck of a lot of support. Squeezy has come down from the hill, and oof, those shots feel so satisfying when you hit the tank that's already halfway around the corner. I think that was even with a slow flying heat. But the first kill coming in for Cashback, and they look to not stop. Barbarian with that WZTD going into the 1v1 against the 60 TP, and Danny finally manages to kill Iset.
Yeah, Iset they're over eager in that one to take that engagement. Now Squeezy realizes that those 60 Ps are coming for him. He will make it up and away around that corner, as Yossi's actually doing a very good job here in this Zeppelin about facing off against Aka and Barbarian. Barbarian who just swings one and misses altogether against that 60 DP. Aka now taking damage as well, and a lot of it at the same time, but they do find Yozi. They reestablish a little bit of control, and of course Liberty on top of that hill still trying to just farm away.
Yeah, Liberty from the top of the hill is going to provide damage over time. Now Squeezy is going to come in, but he's going to find a 60 TP aimed at him, sees that Tankalit is low, is going to start to commit in for it, but actually good shielding coming out from Radim, who's already halfway reloaded against Squeezy there, is going to put the last shot off his clip. That was not the trade that he was hoping for, but the strike should be enough to finish off Tankalit, and now Radim is facing off against an almost full HP E4. Radim down towards 62. Little looking for the ram, activates the ability, does get it. 3 bobbers only remaining.
Yeah, you saw it coming. The ram, of course, why did he pop ability? That's because the ability increases it and gives him higher odds of actually killing the 60p. And now just 3 tanks left standing from bobbers, and I don't know how serious Cashback is taking this Gihan, because you know they're doing a little bit of everything at the same time, which might not have been the best. But even with this, they're still winning the game, which is a bit worrying for bobbers because it didn't look like the best Cashback, but it was still enough to make this a very convincing 3-0 for them.
Yeah, exactly. Cashback probably kind of, you know, hiding strategies a little bit, but smooth sailing at the end of the day for the Ukrainian team here, that swoop in and swoop bobbers out of it. 3-0. All of our predictions exactly on point. Who would have guessed?
Unbelievable. That's yeah. They just do what they're supposed to do. Getting a 4-0, 4-0, 3-0. I mean, good stuff from Cashback. Bobbers. They had an opportunity to pick up a round in the first one, and they didn't take it.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it. Like, if you don't pick up those kind of rounds, then which ones are you supposed to take? Like, if you get an advantage and then you give it away in this way, then it is just the difference. I think you can say it in skill in between both of those teams. Cashback clearly demonstrated that they're on a different level, even in the OLS than Bobbers here. And looking at the damage numbers, I mean, I said with arguably his misplay on the 1-2 line, it didn't end up mattering a whole lot, simply because the rest of his team was there. And Squeezy actually with a very, very good round, 6k plus damage and 2 kills to his name. I mean, I would say Squeezy even with some very liberal decisions as towards how he was trading away his own HP. But maybe it was just the HP as a resource management, and he used most of it to get most of what he wanted, which in this game was damage.
Yeah, you got some nice clips on those 60Ps as well, so they do end up with that hill advantage to come into effect. So the Tuesday stream is done. We will come back on Thursday, Kihan, for more World of Tanks action.
Exactly, and that stream, of course, as well, is gonna have the same drops, I believe, as today. It's gonna be OLS tokens, which obviously you can spend after earning them in the OLS token store in game. That being said, I think the claiming time today was 150 minutes. So if you haven't managed to do that quite yet, as we are basically just above that time in our stream today, then obviously, as always, when he's here, we are going to be raiding Ducky after. That means if you enjoyed the content, and also if you want to see someone else playing some pretty good World of Tanks, then I suggest just staying here and, you know, collecting the channel points as well for the raids. I think you get some for that. But yeah, I think for now that is quite enough by the two of us. Congratulations as well again to Cashback for retaking the top of the OLS scoreboard. We'll see y'all on Thursday.